Life Design Masterclass family, it is almost the 2-minute countdown. Get some energy in your bodies. Are you ready for the 2023 Life Design Masterclass? We'll see you soon. Life Design Masterclass family, the 60-second countdown begins. Are you ready? Get some energy in your body. Get inside the chat box. We are about to begin.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Unleash Our Power Within Life Design Masterclass, brought to you by Tony Robbins. Please welcome to the stage, it's Carissa Kuchin.
Hello, our 2023 Life Design Masterclass family. If you're feeling good, get up out of your seat if you're physically capable. Shake off that body. It's time to design our lives. Welcome, friends. Hello, all of our YouTube family, our Zoom VIPs. You guys are amazing. Serena, ornate, beautiful energy. Solmar, Lou, beautiful energy. Karen Anderson, room 7. Oh my goodness. Mary Lou Samolis. We've got our alumni and our graduates in the house. Hello, everybody. Hello. Hi, Mary Rose. It's good to see you. Hello, everybody. Friends, welcome from around the world to the 2023 Life Design Masterclass, brought to you by the legendary and the iconic Mr. Tony Robbins. We are so unbelievably excited to welcome you here. This is an event that we put on for our community once a year. And today, I am so happy to report we have over 150,000 of you from 95 different countries tuning in to be the creator of your lives. Give yourself a round of applause and some love. That is magical. Whoa, yes. So I want to give a huge congratulations and welcome to so many of you, because we have such a big group. That means for some of you, it's your maybe first time training in the world of Tony Robbins. So inside your chat box, whether you're on YouTube or on Zoom, if this is your very first time, I want you to put first time in the chat box. And if you've worked with Tony in the past, put, OG in the chat box, just so I can get a feel. So lots of first times in our VIP community, which VIPs, you guys are so great. great. Your energy has been off the charts. And we also have some amazing OGs in the house as well. And our YouTube family, we have team in the chat as well. So we're communicating, connecting with both audiences. The reason I asked that question is because depending on if you're an OG and you've been in Tony's world before, or if you're, a first timer here with his content today, I want you to know you're in exactly the right place. We have designed a day for you, the next 3 hours, that's going to be so beautiful. It's going to take you by the hand and walk you through designing a 2023 that makes you want to get up out of bed on fire for your life. By a show of hands, how many of you would like a life that makes you so excited for it? You can't wait to get out of bed in the morning. You don't want to go to bed at night. Say yes. That's what we're up for here today, and this is our third time doing this event. So if it's your first time, number one, working with Tony, it's likely your first time working with Unleash Your Power Within. And if you haven't heard of this community before, it's absolutely stolen my heart. It's the only female-focused personal transformation community powered by the legendary Mr. Tony Robbins. That means that everything that is taught in this community is grounded in his fundamental teachings to help you, help me, I'm a student of the work as well, help all of us make a transformation. So what is a transformation? If you would put that in the chat box, just give me a couple ideas of what you have. A transformation is a what? Sure, change. Someone says a change. And that's a really good first thought. And I would give you the nugget or the thought starter of, do you need to change who you are? Yes or no? Do you need to change who you are? I'm going to say no. I don't know all of you yet personally, but I'm going to say you're pretty perfect the way you are. What we can do, however, is make a transformation and bring more of our best parts to the table, more of ourselves, come back to a part of ourselves that might be a little bit more true. And if we can bring that part of ourselves to our life, you tell me, do you think it's likely that we're going to create an experience of life that we fall in love with? Yes or yes? So, what the heck are we doing today? The Life Design Masterclass. This is our third annual. We do it every single year to help you design a life that you fall in love with. So over the next 3 hours, you're going to be learning material that has been designed by a man that has made it his life mission to help people just like you and I transform our lives. He has spent the last 45 years supporting over 50 million people from 100 different nations create transformation and change in their life. And it's this man right here, Mr. Tony Robbins. Give him some love. So today we're going to be learning some core pieces of what he's been teaching the last several years, and we're just going to give you the fundamentals so you can build a life that you fall in love with. And we're going to be learning these things today, but the goal is not to just learn them. By a show of hands, who here has ever attended an event before? I don't know, something like this kind of event, or read a book that you were like so lit up by and you were like, this is going to change my life, or you listened to a podcast and you were like, holy smokes, girlfriend, listen to this. You got to hear this. It's going to change your life. How many of us have ever done something like this? Because I know I have. Maybe you haven't. Maybe this hasn't been your situation. But I've done it, and I've closed the laptop, closed the book, taken the ear pods off, and then went back to the way I used to be. If you've ever done this before, put yes inside the chat box. Zoom, YouTube families. Today is about digging into the reason why that happens. Why do we learn something and it stays in here and doesn't move into the body? If there's anything I know, it's that the only way to move information from the head into your body is to understand the root of transformation. There's no one that could possibly teach that, I believe, personal opinion, other than Mr. Tony Robbins. So today, we are going to ground you in his teachings. We're going to give you 3 beautiful things. You saw this when you signed up. You're going to get your 3 outcomes for 2023. You're going to understand the actual methodology of how to make a shift and make a transformation, how people have been doing this that have worked with Tony, millions of people, by the way. And you know, Tony's worked with people you guys know. How many of you know Michael Jordan, by a show of hands? What about Oprah Winfrey, Hugh Jackman, Russell Crowe, Leonardo DiCaprio, And now I got some of your attention. I see, okay. Serena Williams just finished up an amazing career. Tony's trained all these people, and you actually have a lot in common with these people. What do you have in common with these people? How many of you would say those people are successful? Yes or yes? Put yes in the chat box. Would you say they're motivated? Would you say those people are busy? So, and for you, this is like a week before Christmas if you're celebrating that holiday. So we're all busy right now. I would 100% say you're successful. And I would say you're motivated because otherwise you wouldn't be on a program like this. And the fact that you walked yourself here says you have a lot in common with those people. Why would someone that's already successful, already motivated, already busy, be seeking information to help them take their life to the next level? How come? You tell me. Because we want more. By a show of hands, who wants something more? More love, more fulfillment, more joy, more connection to your creator, more embodiment of yourself, a world lit on fire relationship. The beautiful thing about this community, we're welcoming 150,000 epic women, people that identify in all sorts of ways, is you all want something different here today, and we want to honor you for that. So today, be a little selfish in the pursuit of a life that you absolutely love. And before we get started, I want to share with you a couple tried and true principles, if you would allow me to, just a couple minutes. We've done this event 3 times. We've worked with thousands of women worldwide, and we've been able to deduce if you do just a couple things or keep a couple things top of mind, you can actually utilize these 3 hours to make a massive, profound shift in your life. Would you be up for knowing some principles that could help you use this experience today and get the most out of it? All right, let's dive in. Shake the body out if you would. Put your shoulders back, lift your head up, get some energy in your body. Principle number 1, the teachings are the teacher. So I am here today sharing with you these phenomenal things, but that does not make me the teacher. I am the one delivering the teachings to you. So you are the one that gets to have the power to create a transformation in your life by knowing that the teachings you're getting, if you apply them, can create an explosion of fulfillment and transformation in your life. If that makes sense, give me some jazz hands. The teachings are the teacher. Okay, cool. Principle number 2, we're cruising. We got a lot to do today. Principle number 2 is now is all there is. That means that we can, I invite you to stay in the present what? Put it in the chat box. And I see some of your faces right now giving a head nod. And I can almost say with 100% certainty, throw a hand up if you have anything going on in your life right now that's stealing a little pocket of your brain power, and you're trying to be here creating this life of your dreams, and you're also thinking about the thing with your kiddo and with the finances and with the job, and you still got to order the food for the holiday party, and there's so many things piling up that potentially we're here, but part of us is also over there. If you resonate with that at all, give me a thumbs up in the screen, which is totally good because we're human. Here's what I've found, okay? I got this permission slip from a leader and mentor in my own life. That thing is likely going to be there by the time class is done in 3 hours. True or true? So I'm going to teach you something. He told me, I want you to take all your thoughts right now and put them in an imaginary box. All the things that are on your mind, you're stressed about, that relationship, that conversation you have to have, and allow it to get heavy, and really do this with me. I know it sounds silly, but really do it with me. Some of you guys are like, oh my God, the box is so heavy, I can't. Pick up the box, okay? And I want you to literally, Aurora Legrand in room 7, I see you. She's like, shit, my box is really heavy. Set it on the side. No, on this side, because we're going to do training over there. Set it on the side and then leave it there. And why not just give yourself the gift of 3 hours totally for you? Because we're going to have a heck of a lot of fun anyway. Can we be 100% present? Yes or yes? Good. Principle number 3, the truth will set you free. I'll be guiding you through teachings of Tony Robbins today that are going to require you to be radically honest with yourself. You can't figure out where you want to go in 2023 if we don't know the raw and the real about where we are right now. So the phrase that I want to provide you right now is just a seed plant, is radical honesty. When you answer a question, ask yourself, could I be even more truthful? Could I be even more truthful? And when we get ourselves anchored in the truth, we're able to explode past our own limitations because we have an accurate data point. We're not cushioning or editing or distorting the truth to make ourselves feel better. Are you up for being 100% honest with yourself today? Above all, yes or yes? Okay. We got 2 more, and then we're going to get this rodeo started. The next is rewrite your participation story. Okay, what does this mean? Rewriting your participation story. And you might have seen in a beginner's mind, there's many possibilities. That's because when you go to an experience and you're wide open, you're feeling like you are a beginner, it means that any option is available for you. But if you show up at an event and you're like, oh, I read that, oh, I know that, oh, I've done that before, you tell me, is there a difference between knowing and doing? Yes or yes? I learned this the hard way because I was I was like studying, highlighting, memorizing, and there was a difference between me knowing it intellectually, but feeling it in my body. So let's allow ourselves today to be beginners, be, kids hearing this stuff for the first time, falling in love with our own transformation. And with that, you want to rewrite your participation story. What does it look like for you to show up and play full out? We've worked with thousands of women, and something Tony always says is energy is the basis of transformation. So I want to invite you today to participate in a way that you've never had before, because why the heck not? It's only 3 hours. Like, I might ask you to throw your shoulders back and, I don't know, lift your head up. What a concept. Put a smile on your face, for God's sakes. It's just your life you're creating. And here's my secret for you. This term will change your life. Let it rip. In class today, when we're doing exercises, I can't tell you how many women want to go answer the question, and they're like, you know what? I'm going to ponder this, and then after class, I'm going to get my good pen, and I'm going to write it in perfectly so that I don't make any errors. And I want this to look so pristine. I'm investing my time, so I'll do it later. And then when does she do it? You tell me. Never. So let's just let it rip. Let's make a mess of it. Let's have fun. Let's get mad scientist style and create our lives. Are you up for it, my friends? All right, let's let it rip. Let's let it rip. Shake your body out. Shake your body out. The final one, honestly, you guys already have this, but energy is a habit. Energy is what's going to help you make a transformation. So today at various times, I might be like, if you're physically capable, and if not, you can do this from your chair. But I might be like, stand up, command some energy in your body, and let it freaking rip. And all I want you to do is jump up, do something that you'd never do to send some energy from your body to your brain. Because otherwise, if you're chilling back like this, like you would in 7th grade algebra, information is going in one ear, out the, and you're telling your brain, we want to create an amazing, extraordinary 2023, and your brain's like, bitch, we don't believe you. So can we help our brain understand that we're serious when we say we want to make a freaking epic shift in our lives this year? Yes? So let's practice some energy. Get up out of your seat. Shake your body. Shake the building. 3, 2, 1, go. YouTube, shake that body out. That's it, Stephanie. Oh, yes. All right, and just a housekeeping note. We have a very special guest joining us at the end of today, at the very end of class, and her name is Mrs. Sage Robbins. So here's what you got to know. Don't leave. To miss a minute is to miss way too much today. Our VIPs and our friends on YouTube, you can submit question #Q4Sage, and our amazing crew and our mentor family and everyone that made today possible, they're in the chat collecting those questions, and you'll have a chance to ask them live to Sage. All right? So I'll be at the end of class today, so don't miss anything. All I got is one question for you. Are you ready to let it freaking rip? to get this thing started, to make some magic happen. Yes or yes? Shake it out one more time. I'm giggling because some of you, there's so many of you that it's your very first time here, and you're probably like, I thought I was getting on this like Zoom workshop, and now we're jumping and we're dancing. And listen, we wanted to be like a totally like a boom, what happened feeling, but lean into it, enjoy it, because this is your life. And when you feel this good, you create a life that feels good. Are you guys ready to get it going? Yep. If you got a workbook, you can open it up. If you don't have one, you can go to uhpwmasterclass.com/WB workbook. I had to think about that one for a second. uhpwmasterclass.com/WB, and you'll be able to get a workbook. And if you don't have a workbook, completely A-okay, because I'm going to do everything on the whiteboard here, and you guys can take some notes, okay? So, first things first, let's start off with some questions for the group. We know you're here because you saw an ad, you saw an advertisement about a life design masterclass. So put a hand in the air if something about that made you want to create a 2023 that you're in love with. Let's just start with that, easy. Put a hand up and wave. Okay, full house. Second question. Who here has ever tried or desired to make a transformation or a change in a specific area of your life? Put a hand in the air. How many of you already know today an area of your life you'd like to make a change in 2023? And let me know in the chat, actually. It's easier for me to see in the chat. Beautiful. Next question. What would that change be? What's the category? What do you want? What brought you here? And that could change. No one's saying this, you have to keep this forever. But what brought you here? So work, business, love in all capital letters, increasing in my leadership, business and body, business, career, personal growth, work, family, mission, personal growth, relationship, work, family, career. So a good mixture, which is really beautiful because we're a mixture of a community. How many of you, by a show of hands, just put glitter in the chat box if, not yet, if, put glitter in the chat box if you've ever tried to make a change in that specific area in the past? So let's look at the chat box. Almost, I'm guessing here, we got a full house of glitters, okay? So a lot of people have tried to make a change in the past, and maybe it didn't what? Work. So the question that this masterclass will address through the teachings of Tony Robbins is how can you design a 2023 where you can actually start to see some of these transformations come to life? And the secret is moving this from your mind into your body. Why do we say that? How many of you put oh yes in the chat box if you know what to do to make the change in that area? Put oh yes in the chat box. If straight up intellect, you kind of know what to do to make the change. And there's a difference between knowing and doing. So how do we move the information from our mind into our body so it becomes a part of us? It's living and breathing and reverberating through every cell of our being, and we don't have to try to make the change. It is us. It's inside of us. It's pouring out of us. So that's what we would be up for today if you're into it, if you're into learning something like that, yes? So we play as a team, we win as a team. By a show of hands and say yes in the chat box, even though we're a ton of strangers that just came together who already honestly feel like family, can we be a team for the next 2 hours and 45 minutes and make some of these shifts? So I want to ask you a question. Take your hands up, wave at me like this. And by the way, I'm a snob for the chat box. So if you just let that thing keep flying, if we say something good, a Tony quote that you want to tattoo on your foot, type it in the chat box. If you heard something great, type it in the chat box. This thing should never stop rolling. Okay, hands up like this. Give me a wave. Lay them on the keyboard and leave them there. If you were to assess yourself honestly on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you're not really loving your results, kind of vanilla, blah, it's good. Good life, good marriage, good health, good intimacy, good finances, or less. That's kind of like a 1. A 10 is it is so off the charts, mind-blowing, amazing. You could not even possibly be kicking butt at a higher level. You're tapped in to your soul's creator's purpose, and you are, a lightning bolt shooting into your body, and you have this epiphany of inspiration, okay? I'm trying to paint a picture of a 10 as really freaking amazing. I want to know for you, from an honest self-assessment, where are you right now? Let's put this up on the screen here. So as a team, so we've got 3s, 2s, a couple 7s, 6s, 3s, 5s, 7s. Doreen has a D, so she's like, I'm not even on the spectrum right now. 4, 2, 7, 5, 5, 3. So I feel like we might be a little hard on ourselves with some of these, so I'm going to give a little loving support, and I'm gonna let's call it at least a 5. Can we say we're at least, as a team, remember, because some of us will be higher, some of us will be lower. As a team, could we say an average is kind of like a 5? Yes or yes? Now, remember, a 5, we're not looking at like success, because sometimes success can be very external of us. But what if we started to look at fulfillment? If we were so fulfilled and our rating was a 10 out of 10, that'd be a pretty epic life. But let's look at this number at 5 and pretend Tony Robbins was in the room and he was like, KK, what's the team got? And I was like, here, Tony. And he's looking at it and he's like, a 5. What do you think he's going to think about that? Like, good. Scott, what do you think he's going to say? Aurora Legren, you have such a good energy and smile. That's so great. I'm so happy to be in this room with you. Okay, so it sucks. We deserve better. It could get better. There's room for improvement. Sylvia says, not on my watch. Let's take it to another level. He would say, okay. He would say, that's bullshit. Why are you not at a 10? Change in a heartbeat. So let's just say, Tony would say, how fascinating. Maybe you have another level. By a show of hands, how many of you have another level here? Now, look how cool this is. If you have 50% more of you left to give, how many of you want 50% more in your bank account next year? How many of you want 50% more love and connection? 50% more spiciness in your life, zest, freedom. 50% more fulfillment in your career. Whatever you want to apply this 50% more to, today we want to extract the 50%. So we're going to start off by going deep on the fundamentals. And I want to ask for your permission to do this, because for some people, they come to a class and they want the answer. Like, what do I do starting now? But we all know, based on just a couple minutes of class to start off, that we can know what to do, but that doesn't mean that we're going to do it. It doesn't mean that it lives inside of us. So what if we gave you an opportunity right now for just the next 20 minutes or so to go deep so you could understand human behavior and transformation and what could help you tick to start making changes? Would that be helpful? Now, this is something cool. I'm happy you like it. This is something, the 5 keys of transformation, that we teach in one of Tony Robbins' programs called Unleash Her Power Within, which is the experience that you're at right now. It's an 8-week journey, and we guide people through all 5 phases. So I'm going to condense this down and give you a snapshot right now so you can understand what are the key pillars of transformation. There's 5 of them. We're going to go through one by one starting now. If you're ready, say yes. Let's shake the body out. Let's snap into the version of ourselves we're creating and take notes and coach yourself to stay here. Like posture, lift your head up, let the girls out to play. Get yourself into the body position of the woman you're becoming, okay? Let's start off with the most important pillar. Tony found after the last 45 years that there's a couple really important things you have to focus on if you want to make a shift. And he became obsessed with the question, what's the difference that makes the difference? Write that down somewhere. What's the difference that makes the difference? Why is it that one person can have outstanding, loving, world lit on fire relationships where you're competing about who can love each other the most, and somebody else is lacking connection? It's been stale. It's been drifting apart. What's the difference between someone that has health and energy and vitality, so much so that they zip out of bed in the morning ready to take on their life, and someone else that's been struggling with their health, feeling lethargic, feeling like they're not even in their own bodies? What's the difference between someone that's experiencing amazing levels of abundance and someone that's really struggling financially? What's the difference between these people? Someone that takes an opportunity like this masterclass and says, holy smokes, on December 13th, I attended this shindig that Tony Robbins put on and I totally changed my life. And somebody else that attended the exact same class with the exact same teachings and does diddly squat. What's the difference between these two people? You tell me in the chat box. Energy, mindset, positivity, action, discipline, inner work, belief, mental state, mindset, action. Can you give yourself a round of applause? This all-outness is pretty epic. No one got the answer right, but still, I'm really, really happy that you guys are playing full out. I'm going to give you the answer. Do you want it? The difference that makes the difference is something called, write this down, patterns. Who can tell me what a pattern is? Put it in the chat really fast, real fast. What's a pattern? A pattern is great, Patricia. Patricia, good to see you. She's one of our graduates. A pattern is a habit. By a show of hands, how many of you have good habits? Front and back of the room. Who's got some good? Who brushed their teeth this morning? Not all of you. Okay, now I'm concerned. It's like the one gift I can give you in 2023, at least brush your teeth, okay? So you've got some good patterns. How many of you, by a show of hands, have some not so good patterns? Not so good patterns. How many of you, put your finger on your nose, can think of some of those not so good patterns that you've been running for quite a while that you'd like to get rid of finally? So here's the interesting thing about a pattern. You have thought patterns, things that we think. Who thinks some things about yourself that you know are not true, but you've repeatedly thought them, so you continue to do so? We have patterns of belief. We can't get over beliefs, myself freaking included, okay? We have patterns of emotion. We have patterns of specific behaviors, belief, thought, emotion, behavior. These patterns we practice so much that our bodies start to memorize them. And then you get really good at them. Think of it like a sport, okay? I played softball. If I practice enough times, is it possible that I'm going to get really good at the game? Yes or yes? Throw it in the chat box. And it's the same thing with you and these patterns of thought, belief, behavior. Sometimes we're mad at ourselves for having patterns that are keeping us at a level 5, but we're not realizing our body is doing a really great job. Our brain is just memorizing what we've practiced so many times. We're actually executing the exact software system we've installed. If you see this so far, give me a double fist bump and say yes. Are you with me? I told you guys, we're going to go a little bit deeper for a second. So I'm going to have you do a quick exercise, okay? And I'm going to embrace my inner Tony. Stand up if you're physically capable of, and shake your body out, okay? Shake your body out, shake your hands out. And if you can't stand, that's totally okay. You can do this from your seat. And hold your hands up about 6 inches apart. Okay, interesting assessment of 6 inches in this room. So there's that, okay? I'm going to get fired. When I say Melanie, Bamba, room 7, stop laughing, okay? When I say 1, 2, 3, go, all I want you to do is interlock your fingers like this. That's it. 1, 2, 3, go. And keep doing it. Keep doing it. And just kind of feel it, feel into it. How does it feel? What does it feel like? Okay, now stop. Now do it again. Look down at your hands. And how many of you had the same thumb go on top of the other every single time that you did that? Put a finger on the nose. If you're on YouTube, put yes in the chat. So how does that, stay standing, how does that work? You know, did your parents sit you down when you were little and say, sweetie, we just want to let you know you're a right thumber. You know, dad's a right thumber, mom's a right thumber. We've been right thumbers in this family, and you are too. Did you even consciously know that you were a right thumber or a left thumber? Yes or no? So here's what's interesting. Without conscious awareness, we build a pattern. I know what you're thinking. Okay, what does this have to do with my dream life in 2023? Well, it has everything to do with it. Because if we don't even know we're doing this, is it possible that there are some other patterns that we are running in our life that we're not even consciously aware of, that we've been running so often that our body memorized them and got so incredible at them, and then we're living our life running the pattern, and it's actually taking us in a direction that we don't want to go? If it's possible, put yes in the chat box. So this is just to crack the door open to say, hey, what if you are running some patterns that aren't taking you in the direction you want to go? And I have a feeling, I want you to put, oh yes, in the chat box. If you have some patterns that you want to, number one, become conscious to. Tony would say you want to become aware of the pattern. You're like, what the heck is in my way? I'm ready to stomp on it and remove it right now. If that's you, say, oh yes. So let's talk about this. First thing that you have to know is you are not your pattern. You are not your pattern. So we can be hard on the pattern today and easy on you as a person. But the first thing that we have to do is become aware of what patterns actually exist. And the untrained human mind does something interesting. They see a class like this. They say, holy moly, I'm going to reinvent myself in 2023 and I'm going to change my what? By the way, I'm going to do this stuff like this for the rest of class, and I want you to shout out the word that you know what it is in the chat box. So you're probably thinking, I'm going to change my what? And you get all excited, right? From the book or the podcast or whatever. And we say, tomorrow I'm going to change my, and we're like, I'm going to eat healthy, whatever your thing is. And it's going great. And you change that pattern. You were left thumber and you change it to become a right thumber. And then let's look at what happens. Shake the body out again. Stand up. Put your hands up 6 inches apart. And this time, when I say go, only when I say go, don't practice, I want you to put the opposite thumb on top with so much energy and enthusiasm that it shakes the room. The opposite thumb, no practicing. When I say go. 1, 2, 3, go. I do this a million times and I couldn't even do it. How did that feel for you? How did that feel for you? So Celeste says, weird, there's a fly in here. Everyone wants to fly up in here and see what we got going on at the masterclass. Weird, awkward, uncomfortable, strange, weird, weird, weird. So here's what's cool. It's kind of a lot like transformation, isn't it? You want to eat healthy, you go to make a change, it feels a little bit finish my sentence in that chat box, it feels a little bit uncomfortable, not natural, and the untrained human mind now starts to look back to safety. What pattern do I know that will make me feel better right now when I'm uncomfortable? And then before you know it, you were doing great for 2 days, and then you find yourself with a package of Oreos in your mouth, and your body's like, oof, thank God, that feels so much better. And then you start dancing between the old pattern and the new pattern, and changing and going back, and changing and going back. And then you find yourself in what we call the dance. I'm going to dance for you right now. This time it's free. Next time you have to pay for it, okay? It looks like this. You're dancing between who you want to be and who you've practiced being, who you really are and what your mind has memorized, into the future you, into the programmed you, and you're stuck. And this side is pulling you back like, we know this so well. We know this pattern so well. You don't know that one as well. Come back over here. Raise a hand if you've ever been pulled back by an old pattern that you don't even want anymore. So now we got all this motivation and we're like, you know what, screw it. I don't need these old patterns. Let's make a change. So you're like, okay, Tony, what's the next step? I got it. I understand that I have these patterns that I've been running and I'm unconscious. They're running on autopilot. I want to become aware of what they are so that I can change them and I can have staying power instead of shrinking back to where I came from. So what do I need to do next? When you're in the middle of the, say it out loud, dance between making that change into who you really want to be, and it starts to get uncomfortable and your mind wants to take you back to where you've been, you need to flex your new muscles, decision-making muscles. You have to make a decision to stay, a decision to take an action different than the old behavior. If you're with me so far, give me a double fist bump. I want to make sure I'm not losing one person because this is so important. So you got to make a decision that helps you stay in the new direction. Now, the definition of a decision means to cut off from. It means no other option exists. Now, what we've found working with thousands of women in UHPW, like the program, and guiding them through Tony's World and an Unleash the Power Within event, there's so much juiciness available to you. And we found with all these women, all these people, all these humans, we make a lot of preferences. Put the word preferences in the chat box. I'd prefer to be healthy. I'd prefer to be happy. I'd prefer to be in a really loving, mutually giving relationship. I'd prefer to be in a world lit on fire life. I'd prefer to have the abundance with my finances that I really want. I'd prefer to have the freedom that I want. And a preference pretty soon turns into 2, 3, 5, 14 years, taking a nice little trip to where? Now, here's the interesting thing. We're not making preferences all the time. We make decisions too. Who here has kids? I don't have kids, but I have 2 dogs, and I feel like somewhere there's some resonance, maybe, I don't know. But I got a lot of friends in Unleash Your Power within the community. We have so many graduates here today that are mamas, and I look up to them. And we've found something, that decision-making power is actually really strong with mothers and their children. So let me ask you this and see if it resonates for you. If your child was standing in front of a moving bus, I want you to just, as fast as you can, hands on keyboard, would you run out in front of the bus and save your kid? Okay, what if the bus was bigger than you? What if you didn't have much confidence that day? What if you failed last week at something in your career? What if you had imposter syndrome that day? What if you got in a fight with your partner that morning? What if, what if, what if, what if? And the answer doesn't change, because at some point you decided you loved your kid, and therefore your decision was extremely clear for you. Clarity is power, but that's not a preference. You don't prefer to love your kid. It is unconditional. So that means that when you've decided inside the dance and an opportunity is in front of you that challenges you to stand up, like expand yourself, run in front of that bus or shrink, you don't even have to do the mental gymnastics of deciding, what am I going to do? Because you made a freaking decision. Do you see the power of decision in this capacity? Yes or yes? So the question becomes, what if you made the exact same level of decision about living a life that you deserve? You know you deserve to have a world where you're completely fulfilled, where you're totally yourself, where your kids can experience you like that, where your community, where the people you love can experience you like that. But that decision doesn't come from anyone outside of us. It comes from who? We have to make that. We have to choose to live a life like that. So we want to make decisions easier for you. Because if I've learned anything, sometimes it's like, oh gosh, I'm struggling with decisions. I'm at the restaurant, I'm trying to decide, should I get like the steak or should I get the thing? And I'm like, what do I get, right? And we're struggling with decisions. So Tony always says it's the moments of decisions that shape your destiny. So if decisions are so important, would it be beneficial to you to learn a tool that would help you make more powerful decisions? The tool that will help you make more powerful decisions lands in this third pillar, and maybe the most important pillar. And you're going to see some, faces on the Zoom wall with some backgrounds that say Unleash Your Power Within. Those are a lot of our graduates. We have a beautiful community. I love you guys so much, by the way. Thank you all for being here. They're here in service to you guys. Anybody here that is new, you are automatically a part of this family, so lean on each other for support. But they know this really well. They spent 8 weeks, 56 days. They've spent 4 days of full immersion with Tony Robbins at his flagship event called Unleash the Power Within, day and night, rewiring themselves to really maximize this third pillar. That Tony's dedicated his life to helping people really embody, become free from. And this third pillar right here is called identity. Who are you and who are you not? Before I go any further, let me do a check-in. How are you doing? How are you doing in the chat box? Give me some feedback in the chat box. Are you feeling good? Are you with me? Do you know it so much you could teach it to somebody else? Okay, good. Let's continue. So identity is who you are and who you are not. Tony says that the strongest force in the human personality is the need to remain consistent with how we define ourselves. Now, later on in the segment today, you're going to learn directly from Tony about identity. We actually have a beautiful video he recorded for you guys. So you're going to learn from him, I don't know, in 45 minutes or so, maybe less. And so you'll be able to learn from the master himself. But what you got to know here, and actually let me just poll you guys. How many of you have ever felt like you've gone through a stage of life where you're a little uncertain certain about who you are. Therefore, it was hard to make a decision because we don't really know what we want. We don't really know what we don't want. We're a little bit confused. That's why experiences like this are amazing. And it's even more amazing when you can go deep and really prioritize this in your life. And this is really the root, the cornerstone, the heartbeat of transformation is knowing who you are. And so for the sake of today, there's going to be two identities that I want to share with you and introduce you to. Just two characters. There's so many more to this, but today we're going to focus on two. How many? Two. So the first identity or character that you and I and all of us have as human beings is our limiting identity. Our limiting identity. And you can probably guess what type of beliefs does our limiting identity get really good at? What kind of pattern of belief? Limiting beliefs or empowering beliefs? Carrie Blanchard goes, I just saw that. That was good. So limiting beliefs, this identity gets really good at thinking those. And we all have this part of us, okay? I've named mine Griselda. I've named this because I know everything about her. I know when she gets self-conscious. I know when she gets nervous. I know when she gets freaked out. I know when she gets, a little bit antsy and impatient. I know everything about this part of me. And I know the experiences that evoke it in me, that put me in the dance and give me an opportunity to expand or shrink. And I know when my old pattern is pulling me back. It's just Griselda being like, come back over here. We're good at thinking like this. But I know that I can overcome it and be stronger than that. But I had to figure out who she was. So I want to ask you for a moment. Today's a great day. We're going to build a life for your dreams, but we need to know what's going to get in the way of you doing that. So by a show of hands, how many of you have a part of you that's like the dream killer? The part of you, I don't know if it's when you're hangry or something, you turn into a whatever kind of part of you, whatever. There's a part of us that shows up in certain moments that steals the joy, steals the fun, steals the vibrancy. Felicia says she's a biatch, dream killer. Here's what I would love. I would love right now for us to just shake the body out really quick. Shake the body out. And remember what we said when we started, that the truth will set you free. I want you to take a moment and we'll play a little music and I just want you to really get embody this part of you. So for me with Griselda, it's like, I'm like hunched over and I'm nervous and I'm just looking and seeing, can anyone validate me? Can anyone tell me how I'm doing? You know what I mean? What's your thing? And I want you to get into that mode. And then I want you to, in the chat box, to tell me what are the characteristics of that part of you? What are the characteristics of your limiting identity when the pressure's on, when you're in the dance, and when it comes out and you're not so happy about it? If you're being radically honest, tell me about her. Begin. So we got insecure, defensive, anxiety, so many I can't keep up, you guys. Come on. You can write it right inside of that circle in your workbook. You guys are doing great. All right, friends, come on back. So first, I just want to acknowledge and honor you guys and give yourself a round of applause, just for yourself first and foremost, but also for everyone here. The level of courage to just freaking let it rip like that, come on, amazing. All right, let me show you something. So what you just did was allow yourself, number one, to get radically honest about what behaviors when you're in the dance have you shrinking back to who you've been, the old program. But you're also giving yourself this awareness to see it and spot it. So let's look at just a couple of these things. We get into a hermit state, shrinking, hiding, insecure, victim, lack of confidence. We're defensive, we have anxiety, we get quiet, small, blocked, lonely, rejected, loss of direction, unlovable, overthinking, depression, self-sabotage. You know what's crazy? This is not my experience of the women that jumped on this call at the start of the Life Design Masterclass. So do you mean to tell me that you've got like multiple personality something going on here? Because we've got that part of you, but then we also have this other part of you that showed up today, ready to design a 2023 that you're absolutely in love with. So is this the only part of you? No, it's a part of us that we got so good at that when the moment gets pressure filled, our body knows what to do. Our body knows how to be a hermit. Our body knows how to feel insecure. Our body knows how to go to anxiety. But what if we could train our body to tap into a different state when the pressure's heightened, call on a new part of ourselves, and we can become less of this memorized program that I guarantee none of us on here even want this. Put a hand up if you want this. Good, no hands up, that's what I was hoping for. Now put a hand up if you want to eradicate this from your nervous system so it never shows up again. Make some noise. So this is one part of you. Before we move on from this segment, I want you to give that part of you a name. Just a silly little nickname. I showed you, I gave mine Griselda. And that nickname helps me remember the behaviors. And when I think of Griselda, I know the exact way she's looking and feeling. So I want you right now, and don't overthink it. If you overthink this, you're probably overthinking other things too. What's the silly little nickname that you could tribute to this part of you? And the reason why we'll share with you later, okay, after you learn from Tony. But just give this a nickname. We've got Hagrid, Voldemort, Pertra, Vicky, Dark Fat. I have never heard that one before. Crazy Kelly, Twerp, DD, Devlin, Sucky Suckerson, Christina, Gundo, Vampire, Prudence, Ursula, Cruella, Blackie, Maddie. Now, I don't mean to be so lighthearted about this, but later on today you're going to hear from Sage Robbins, who's extremely wise and is going to help us free our minds from the shackles we put it in. But I have a feeling that, and I think she's watching right now, she would be saying a lot of these things are just thoughts anyway. So we don't have to spend a whole lot of time here on this, because put a finger up in the air on your nose if you can see that this is just a creation of your mind, not in your nose, okay, on the nose, something like that. Who can see this is just a creation of our mind anyway? And we could have chose something different if we got so good at it, if we practiced it enough that our body knew what to do. And I want to give you a visual understanding of what this thing is. This limiting identity, all it is a software program, like a CD. You guys remember these? I'm old enough and young enough to remember these. You put this on the car and it plays a song. If you have played the song of Hermit, Victim, Insecure, never promised I had good handwriting, but you get the point. Insecure, defensive. If you've played this song over and over and over and over again, is your brain going to get good at remembering it? Yes or yes? So if I were in your shoes, I know this because I've been working with Tony, and I'm very grateful for that, I would be thinking, how the heck do we get rid of this old program? You're like, I want to smash and crash and destroy this thing, and I want to build something new. And that's what we want to help you start to do. And here's what we need to do. To build something new, we need to scratch and annihilate the old pattern or program. Gotta fly. You guys see that? Can you see that? Or the camera catching it? We want to scratch and annihilate the old program so much so that it's destroyed. What's your favorite song right now? Put it in the chat. What's your favorite song right now? I know, I'm putting you on the spot. Give me a song. What's your favorite song? Happy. Okay, 'cause I'm happy, clap along if you feel. We'd play it for you, but it's royalty-free music because we're on YouTube. So that song, clap along if you feel like happiness. You guys know it, yeah? Okay, clap with me, and I want you to just sing it on your own. Let's pretend that's on this CD, and your kid came or you came and scratched it with a knife. Is this song, Happy, ever gonna play? Well, that's not a good song. We should call it Depressed. This one should be called Happy. You get the point. If we scratch it, is it ever gonna play the same song again? No. So how do you scratch the system of your old identity? You need to practice your new identity so many times in the moments that count that you start to unlearn the old memorized pattern and build up a new software system that becomes the automatic response from your nervous system. If you're with me right now, do a double fist bump and say yes. So let's start building the new freaking identity, because that is what we're here for, to let go of the old and create the new so we can build a 2023 that we are in love with. Let's talk about what's a little bit more true for you. This is your expanded identity, your empowering identity, not changing who you are, but removing the gunk that's got in the way of you being the truest you. A way to think about that is you are like the sun. Okay, you shine so bright, you're so beautiful, you're not a hermit, you're not hiding, you're not being small, you're this beautiful shining sun. And over time, we've had a lot of pollution and clouds get in the way of our beautiful shining sun. And this journey that you're going on with Tony Robbins, this work is allowing you to remove some of that clutter, some of that congestion, some of that life experience that's hurt us, that's scarred us, and get you back to a state where just your natural essence is shining. If that makes sense, double fist pump, put oh yes inside the chat box. So this is innate inside of you. You already know this. It's living in your body. It's already reverberating through every cell. And I have a feeling when you got on this training, by a show of hands, who feels already since the moment you stepped in the room amidst this amazing community? I know I felt it. Maybe you felt an energy that you hadn't felt in quite a while. If that's the truth, put unleash in the chat box. If that's the truth, put unleash in the chat box. So you're already feeling an energy that's palpable that maybe you're feeling for the first time or you're feeling for the first time in a long time. And what we want to help you do is soak this up so it becomes a part of you. I mentioned earlier Serena Williams, who just finished an amazing freaking career. Can we give that woman a round of applause? What an amazing example for so many women around the world. And Tony coached her and he said, let's help you have your best game every single game. And I remember hearing that thinking, wow, I want to live my best life every day of life. And so we want to call on the part of us that will allow us to do that. So I want you right now to think of when you're the most fulfilled, most energetically rich, most happy, most loving state, pure love. What's a moment that brings that out in you? Is it connection with your kiddos? Is it, a really beautiful moment with your partner? What's a memory you have where you were just completely in love? What's a memory you have where you're completely in love, where you're head over heels excited about life? Maybe it's the day that you had your first kiss, the birth of a child, connecting with your family. Maybe it's driving a car on the highway for the first time. Maybe it's some little memory of a beautiful family dinner where you're all connected and present. Dancing, says Patricia, hosting a party, family dinner, any moment with my daughter, being hugged by my husband, on stage playing, bike riding, a moment of connection in my faith, trip to Egypt with my family, a warm smile, swimming in the ocean, doing an angel in the snow. So whatever that is for you, I want you to embody that memory. And then we're going to play some music, and I want you to do the same thing. I want you to tell me all about this woman that's so tapped in that memory, and tell me about these qualities that she has. As much as you can possibly remember, tell me everything about her starting now. She is what? She is victorious, peaceful, happy, unstoppable, brave, confident, loving, shining, courageous, joyous, bold, valuable, visible, moving with intention, serene, magnetic. She's free. She's purposeful. Unshakable. Hey, I know a great book called Unshakable. Grateful. Feminine. What's she like? Write as much as you can remember about this part of you. Badass. All right, come on back to the stage. Let's celebrate yourself and this beautiful woman, this beautiful person that you are. You're brave, courageous, loving, joyous, bold, intentional, serene, badass. You're shining. Give it up for yourselves. Question becomes, is this someone different? Is this someone different? Is this a new you that you have to build and create from scratch, and you have to change, and you have to be this person like an actor and pretend in life? Or is this just something a little bit more true to who you are every day anyway? And if you approached challenges, moments of conflict that normally this part of you comes out, if she showed up, would it be a bit different? Would the result change? Would life change? Would 2023 be different with this part of you showing up? So the question that we want to take with us into the next exercise is, how do we become less of the memorized program and more of who we really are? How do we start to disassemble, pull away, peel apart this software system and install this into your minds, your hearts, and your bodies? And that's what Tony Robbins is the best at. Who's up for breaking this pattern here today and starting to build this one a bit more? Yep. Shake the body out. Let's crank our energy. 3, 2, 1, go. If you're feeling good so far, say yes. If you're following with where we're going in training, put oh yes in the chat box, because we're going to turn up the steam and I need you guys to be with me. Okay, so flip to the next sheet in your workbook and let me show you where we're at. So this is the 5 keys of transformation. From here, we understand that we are not our pattern. The collection of behaviors that we've given to life are simply somewhat. Throw it in the chat box. Simply some that we have gotten so good at, memorized, and become a part of us. And in order for us to change a pattern, we need to make but a real true decision, not a preference. A decision like we love our kid. We'd run in front of that bus, that we're gonna have a life like that. And to help us make a decision like that, we know who we are. We know who we are, and we know who we are not. If you're straddling the decision line, trying to decide if you should do something or not do something, take advantage of an opportunity, or say no, say I love you, or go up to your son's hot soccer coach, or raise your hand in the meeting, or do something that requires courage, is this person versus this person going to act much differently? Yes or yes? So for the rest of today, we want to focus on this badass right here, okay? So I'm going to flip my board, and we're going to go to the next model. This is called the Tony Robbins momentum model. If you've been in our world before, he also refers to it as the success cycle. But the reason we utilize the word momentum is because without momentum, we're not going to go anywhere. And if you want to start 2023 in a powerful way, who here would like some momentum in their life? Say yes. So we're going to start in this bottom box on the far left, and it has an R in it. And this system right here, Tony gets paid a lot of money to teach this, and had his 4-day flagship event. There's a really beautiful segment that goes deep into this. You're going to spend 4 days with Tony. Those of you that have been know. If you haven't, you've got to go. My first event, I don't even know life before I met Tony, honestly. That man has changed my life. I have so much respect for him and his teachings, which is why I love to share it with you. So this is just a seed plant, a nugget, but it's going to get you going. I want to look in this first box first. By a show of hands, how many of you have already decided some results, dreams, goals that you want to create in 2023? Put yes in the chat box so I can see. Cool. Oh, we have a 3-time UPW graduate. That's freaking epic. Firewalkers, board breakers, all of it. So this bottom left-hand box, we're going to call this results, okay? Now, is it possible? So right now we're going to decide what are some results that you want to create in this next year. Now, is it possible that if this version of you, okay, if this version of you has been existing at all, and if it has, give me a wave. Is it possible if this version of you has been existing and helped you create your goals for 2023, is it possible that that girl created some results that are less than what you are capable of? Yes or yes? So, results mean, what do you want? What's your outcome? So let's think of 2023 and come up with some really big, juicy goals by asking ourselves this question. If the old identity literally never existed, let me just show you for the sake of clarity. If this part of you never existed, like totally evaporated, poof, gone, destroyed, you overcame that pattern, you cracked the CD, it's gone. Never existed. Pretend like an actress with me for a second. What would you be capable of creating in the next 6 to 12 months? I'm going to pull up a slide here so you can see the question. Pretend your limiting identity has vanished. What results are you capable of creating in the next 6 to 12 months? Jacqueline Finch says, any effing thing I want. Now, put some energy in your body. Lift your shoulders back. Put your head up. And hold yourself in the state of the person that you're embodying in the future. And remind yourself this: the past does not equal the future. It's gone. It doesn't exist. For the sake of this exercise, if it was all gone, all the limitation, what's possible? Enjoy this, have fun. And when you got something good, share it in the chat box.
Take my hand and let's fly away to another galaxy. Hold me close, I want to feel your love. Together we are free. Just be with me. Just be with me. Just be with me. can go any place that we want to. I don't care if that's too far. Take my hand and let's fly away to another galaxy. Hold me close, I want to feel your love. Together we are free. Just be with me. Just be with me. Just be with me.
And as you guys are writing this in, try to get as specific as you possibly can. And our graduates will help in the chat box, but what do you want to do that's cross-outable? Do you want to write a book? Do you want to, experience a passionate, loving, world lit on fire relationship? Do you want to have, 10 new clients? Help how many people? Have a baby? What do you want? What's calling you? What's specific that you could cross out? Great job.
Take my hand and let's fly away to another galaxy. Hold me close, I want to feel your love. Together we are free. Just be with me. Just be with me. Just be with me.
What are your dreams, your desires, your goals?
Now we're one with the sun over our heads, and at night we'll be the stars. We can go any place that we want to.
What does life look like on your terms?
Take my hand and let's fly away to another galaxy. Hold me close, I want to feel your love. Together we are free. Just be with me. Just be with me. Just be with me. We got love that we'll never need to hide. Love will always rise above. Whatever comes, we will be just fine. If I am yours and you are mine. Take my hand and let's fly away to another galaxy. Hold me close, I want to feel your love. Together we are free. Just be with me. Just be with me. Just be with me. Now we're one with the sun over our heads, and at night we'll be the stars. We can go any place that we want to. I don't care if that's too far.
As you look at your goals, ask yourself, what do I really want? If 2023 were so shockingly abundant that it even surprised you, what would be some crazy things that you would create or do? What would you do, give, have, accomplish, contribute?
Just be with me. Just be with me.
All right. Celebrate yourself, my friends. You did an amazing job with this exercise. Congratulations. So you came up with some pretty epic things. We've got buy a house, buy a lot and build a home, take my kids to a trip to Disney, turn my coaching business full time, have the best health of my life, help children, write a book, grow my business, experience financial freedom, increase my YouTube subscribers, repair my relationship with my partner. I love this one because of the honesty. How many people can relate to any single one of these dreams, goals, and desires? And Suzette, beautiful job, this paragraph here. And I want to honor you guys for this honesty in writing what is really on your heart. And I want to invite you to let it rip to a deeper level. I said if no limitation ever even existed, and so many of you tapped into this, and there might be even another level. If you looked at it one more time, and you can marinate on this and look at these things and say, if not one limiting thought, if not one part of my old programming existed, what would my mind come up with? And the opportunities are unlimited. As you go down that path, Tony has this model to help you create momentum and actually reach these results. And at the end of the day, we know, true or true, it's not necessarily about the results at all. It's about what the results will bring us. There's a woman that said, all I want to do is be happy. And really, for many of us, maybe some of these goals are all leading us to be happy anyway. If you see this, give me a wave. So, let's talk about how we can create these results and make them real for us. We're going to really quick fly through this cycle, and you're going to see the power of momentum and what it really means to experience momentum in your life. So in order for us to buy that home and expand our business and repair our relationships and, write a book and do all these amazing things, are there specific and measurable actions that you and me and all of us together as a family must take in order to make this real? Yes or yes? Oh, goodness. Yes or yes? Okay, good. Now, is it any kind of action? Is it a little bit of action? Or is it a big, bold, beautiful action that moves you tremendously in the direction of where you want to go? In UHPW, we call that XL action. And by the way, UHPW is shorter for Unleash Her Power Within, which is the event that you're at. So hopefully you know where you are today. XL action, it's a massive action. If you were here with Tony at UPW, you'd say, take massive action, something bold that catapults you in the direction of what you want. So if we want to take a massive, extra large action, we want to figure out what is a one-time cross-outable action that will help you get closer to this goal. So instead of just looking up houses on Zillow, maybe it is scheduling a lunch with the realtor to get this land and buy this house. Something that goes into the calendar. I'm going to share with you a quote, and if you guys are fast enough, type this up for me. Tony says, never leave the scene of a decision without scheduling in a commitment that guarantees a result. So if you've made a decision to create some amazing results this year, and you can schedule in a commitment into your calendar in the form of an action that can guarantee this result coming to life, yes or yes, it's going to be more likely that you'll make that happen. For sure. Now, in order for you to take these beautiful, electric, magnetic, massive actions, how much of your potential, your God-given potential, must you tap into from a scale of 1 to 10? Can you get by with a 5? Can you get by with a 5? Absolutely not. We're going to have to take our internal potential standard and shoot that up to a what? 1 to 10? Sure. Level 10. What does level 10 mean? You know what that means for you. You want to tap into all of the potential that you have. Now, answer me this question. Who is the only person that steals our potential? Put in that, yes, exactly. No one's going to break into our house tonight and be like, where'd you keep the potential? Okay, is it in the kitchen? Is it in the refrigerator? Where's the potential? No one's going to steal that but us. So we want to harness all of our potential and tap into every single ounce of it when we're in the process of generating momentum. But in order for us to tap into all of this potential, what type of belief or level of certainty in ourselves must we have in order to make this whole process work? Now, let me show you. Do you think this version of you has empowering beliefs or limiting beliefs? Do you think this person right here has high levels of certainty or low levels of certainty? So in a moment when we have an opportunity to take an action for something in our life, if we were to tap into this expanded part of ourselves, does she have high levels of certainty or low? Which one? High or low? Yes, absolutely high. Does she have empowering beliefs about herself or limiting? Empowering beliefs about herself. And belief and certainty drive this entire model. Let me give you an example in another way. Let's say there was a woman named Griselda, just because I feel like that's I haven't met many Griseldas. So let's say there's a woman named Griselda, and she was crushing it in life, but like something crazy happened in 2019 and 2020, and then it just she had a couple weird years there. Can anyone relate to this? Yes. And now she's like, holy smokes, I want to reinvent myself. I want to design my life. I want to change things. I want to take things to the next level. But she still has these feelings of victimhood. She's insecure. She has lack of confidence. She's a little bit defensive. She has some anxiety, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But she says, you know what? I want to transform my life. If she starts with those types of beliefs, I'm not good enough, a lack of confidence in myself. If she starts with that level of belief and certainty, how much potential do you think she's going to tap into? A lot or a little? Okay, so she taps into less of her potential. Let's call it, I don't know, like a 5. But she's like, but I'm still going for it, right? And if she taps into only a level 5 of her potential, what kind of action do you think she's going to take? A lot or a little bit of action? She might do it, but she might do it only a little bit. There's an example that I heard Tony share one time that's always stuck with me. And he said, like, if you're in business, is anyone here in business or ever sell anything before? And he's like, someone that's not really taking massive action, it's like, okay, I'm going to go up to this door and I'm going to knock on it and I'm going to be like, you wouldn't want to buy anything from me, would you? And we're doing it, but we're not doing it with the energy and the conviction, the belief and certainty that we're capable of. So if we take a little bit of action, you tell me, is Griselda going to create all these beautiful results that she's decided she wants in 2023? Yes or no? So she doesn't create these results, and then because she doesn't create it, it refuels the belief that she's not good enough, that she has lack of certainty, that she's a victim, that she's a hermit. And then this cycle continues. And how many of you can see by a show of hands that momentum can go in the opposite way as well? And the root of all of this is not what you want. The root of all of this is how you feel about yourself, the level of belief, certainty, and love that you have in yourself that starts the whole thing anyway. So I'm going to put a slide up right now and give you an opportunity to answer a question. And it's in your page, it's at the bottom of your workbook page that you're on right now. And I'm going to read the question for you. Maybe we can pull it up on the slide, guys, if you have it. We have a question that we're going to have you guys answer about the past. So every moment up until now. And I want you to say this out loud. In the past. Say it. In the past. Because this is not you from who you are today. This is where you've been up until this point. So in the past, what behaviors have prevented you from achieving your dreams? Explain what patterns have shown up that have interrupted your success, thought, belief, or action. Looking at this cycle right here, what beliefs or patterns have shown up when you're in the middle of momentum, when you're feeling good? What shows up that might derail your success? Write with passion, write with intensity. Let's figure this out and get clear. And then the moment you come back, we have Tony Robbins, who you're going to be learning from on a video training here. So continue. You're doing so great, and I'll see you in a moment. You guys are doing so great. Beautiful honesty. About 60 seconds left. And then come back to the room with some energy. All right, about 20 seconds. Shake this out. Come on back with some energy. Shoulders back, heads up. All right, come on back. Let's shake it out. Shake it out. Shake it out. Shake off the past. Let it go. In 3, 2, 1, let's raise the building. 3, 2, 1, go. That's it. Beautiful energy. Come on. You've learned the model of transformation, patterns, decisions, identity. There's this limiting part of you. There's an empowering part of you. You've learned that to generate momentum, it's not even necessarily about the result you want. It's about the why, but it's about the belief in you. If you see this, give me a wave around the world, around the globe. So cool we have so many of you. So now let's go to the next piece. There's only one person that could possibly teach this. Identity, Tony says, is everywhere, and that you and I live what we believe that we are. So what you just wrote down in your notebooks about what has happened in the past, about what in the past maybe has derailed you in that momentum model in an opposite way, we're just living a program that we have memorized and gotten rather good at. If you see that, put yes in the chat box. We've lived a program that we've gotten good at. And the truth is that there's only one way to create what Tony says is called lasting change. And there's no one that I know better than him to help you create that. You guys see this this fly? I love the fly, though. I don't want to hurt the fly, so I want to just softly capture the fly and hold him or something. But the truth is that if we want to have lasting change, if we want to have a new story besides the story that has kept us from experiencing the life that we want and we deserve to live, then we want to focus on the power of our identity. And this new year is going to require more of all of us. It's going to require us to bring a new part of ourselves to the table, not a part that we're inventing, a part that's inside of us that we want to call out to experience more of so we can expand who we are. So Tony says, and I want you to write this quote down. You're going to hear this from him. The strongest force in the human personality is our need to remain consistent with how we define ourselves. So, when did you decide who you were? When did we all decide who we are? When did we decide how we handle conflict? Most of us are just being controlled by some unconscious program that hasn't been updated in years. So I'm going to shift right now to a training that Tony recorded for you guys that's going to help you understand identity expansion. It's going to help you understand what it is, and if you really want to create lasting change, then how you can harness the power of identity right now in this moment to really understand who you want to embody and be in this next stage of your life. Are you guys up for this? Yes? Now, here's the thing about Tony. Those of you that are graduates of his flagship program, Unleash the Power Within, know it is a soul-pumping, body-moving, energizing experience that shakes your nervous system up from the inside out. It's one of my biggest passions is helping people experience this work. Now, if we're going to bring Tony on the screen, I got to do him right and make sure we've got some good energy in the room. So what we're going to do is crank the building as intensely as we can, and then we're going to say, whoa, yes, and then we'll bring Tony up to the screen for a bit, and then I'll see you after. If you're ready, say yes. 3, 2, 1, crank it! That's it. YouTube, I see you. Come on. Sure to take crazy notes. Welcome to the screen, my amazing mentor, Tony Robbins.
There is a way to get lasting change, and that's what we all really want. And the only way I know is to understand the principle of identity. Identity. What the hell is identity? Please write this down. Identity is the strongest force in the human personality. The strongest force in the human personality is the need to stay consistent with how we define ourselves. That's all identity is how do you define yourself? Who do you believe you are and who do you believe you aren't? Many of us define ourselves, but well, we're not. I'm not one of those. That's one way. The other, this is who I am. So write it down. The strongest force in the human personality, and everybody's personality, is the need to stay consistent with how we define ourselves. So if you define yourself in some negative terms, like let me give you an example. Let's say you really have this big goal and you're excited about it and you decide you're gonna go for it, and then last minute you get scared. We all have fear. You're afraid of failing, afraid of being rejected, afraid of not looking good, afraid you're not enough, afraid you won't be loved, whatever the fear is. And so as a result of the fear, you pull back and you don't do it, you procrastinate. And then you get your passion up again and your determination and you say you're gonna go for it, and last minute you get scared and pull back again. Well, after 4 or 5 times of this, you start to get pissed off at yourself and you don't wanna feel that way. So guess what you do? You create an identity for yourself. I am a procrastinator. That's different than I procrastinated. How many raise your hand if you can tell the difference? I procrastinated versus I am a procrastinator. One is a momentary situation, the other is an identity, and once it's your identity, the strongest force in you is that you need to be consistent with your identity. See, if you don't know who you are, how can you decide what to do, what to be, what to create, what to give? When someone has an identity crisis, typically they say it happens for men around 40 years old or 45, and they suddenly change everything and question everything. It isn't just men. Everybody has identity questioning. In fact, I want you to know it's very natural to go a period of time. I'm going to make the time up. It's different for everyone. 7 years. And just a round, not really a round number, but a number I see quite a large number of people have the pattern. Somewhere around 5 to 10 years, but let's say 7 years, people commit to a way of being, a relationship, a certain way of being in their family, a business, a career. And then there's a point when people tend to question. Is this really what I want? I've been doing this forever. Is this really it? Who can relate to this in some way in your life? Make some noise if you can, so I know. And people think there's something wrong with them. No, it's part of the growth path. It just makes you question, but it also makes you uncertain, like when you're questioning who you are and how you're living and what you're doing. And when people do this, they go through a period of questioning, and if they're smart, they commit to something. They either say, no, I love what I'm doing, and they recommit, and they go another 7 or 10 years, and then they question again a little bit. It might be a shorter questioning, it might be more. Or they pick a new direction and go. That's part of expanding or shifting identity. But most of us in our culture, because we have a 2 million-year-old brain that's always looking for what's wrong to protect us, most of us have created portions of a negative identity, and it's limiting you. So let me see if I can give you a metaphor that might make it really helpful. Think of it this way. If we set the thermostat in the room you're in right now at 68 degrees, and that's your comfort zone, that's where you're comfortable, not what your goal is, and we're gonna use 68 degrees as a metaphor for what you're comfortable with, meaning your current identity. it's not what you want. You want more. You want more financially. You want more emotionally. You want more in your relationship. You want more with your family. You want more in your business. You want more, but you believe this is who I am, and so you stay kind of comfortable in that. Still have desire, but we usually radiate to our comfort zone. Now, if it's 68 degrees as a metaphor for how much love you allow in and you're comfortable with versus how much you want, or how much money you have, or how well your business is going, or what a great relationship you have with your kids, or whatever, how happy you are, is controlled by your identity. Some people believe they're happy people. Some people say, I'm never happy, nothing ever makes me happy. And by the way, they look for things that make them unhappy. They look for brown and they find it. Am I making sense to you? But it also happens on the other side. So watch this. Let's say you're a 68 degreeer and then things don't go really well. And you gain some weight and then some more, or your relationship gets really unpassionate and boring and not connected, or maybe angry, or your body or your finances or your business drops. There's a point, 67, 66, 65, 62, somewhere around 60 degrees, the computer in your brain, the thermostat goes, hey, 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 what are you doing down here at 60? You're a 68 degreeer. And you feel this push, this heaters kick on, the drive to say, I got to get back to who I really am. Who here's had an experience where it got so damn bad, then something in you finally kicked in gear and said, no more, and you changed it? Raise your hand, make some noise if you've done this successfully. Now, some people, they get inspired and they push more and they expand and they go from 68, their comfort zone, to 70, 75, 82, 88, 98 degrees, and all of a sudden the computer kicks on. Hey, 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 what the hell are you doing? You're not a 98 degreeer, you're a 68 degreeer. What the hell? And then what happens? The heaters that drive you stop and you lose your drive and you start to drift down. If that's not enough, the air conditioners kick on and you start to sabotage yourself until you get right back to where you were before. Who has ever experienced this where things went so well that you start to screw up the relationship or say things or do, and you're like, why did I say that? And you did it. Or you're in sales and you stop selling and you start buying shit, right? You don't work as hard. Who's had this experience where you started doing well and you started to sabotage it? Make some noise if you've had this experience. You know what I'm talking about here. So your identity is the most powerful force in your life. And for most of us, our identity is subconscious and it was designed years ago and it needs an update. If we update this with a new story and an updated identity, the two together are a force to be reckoned with, and you can shift anything in your life. If you want a new identity, there are multiple ways to get there. The easiest way, conditioning yourself, but the most powerful way is get yourself to do things you wouldn't normally do, and your brain will go, aha. That's why we do like the wood breaking at Unleash the Power Within, or the live event we do the fire walking. By the way, wood breaking sometimes scares people more. You get a big guy, and I showed him karate style how we're going to do this, and if he winds up and hits this, it's not a pleasant experience. And then I'll get a younger person, I get them to do it right, and boom, they explode through it and blows their mind. Because when you do something you once thought was difficult or impossible, it expands your identity. You go, if I could do that, what else could I do that's been holding me back? So most of what I try to do with people is give them experiences. That's what we do in a live event. All these experiences that change your identity because you are doing things, you are feeling things, you are experiencing things you never have before, and your brain starts to go, that's who I am. And when it goes, that's who you are, the whole world opens up.
Give it up for Tony Robbins and get some energy in your bodies. Make some noise, shake that body out. You're creating your new life. Come on. Take the momentum from this experience with Tony, which, by the way, for those of you that said this was your very first time, welcome to your introduction of Tony Robbins, the legend that made this entire experience possible. And here's what I want you to know. He said something so important, and that is that for us to experience a life that we maybe haven't felt before, trying something new, aka creating a new experience for our mind and our body to understand and to know, is almost mandatory. We can't stay in the same place to create something new. If you see that, give me a wave. Secondary to that thermostat he's talking about, as a team, we identified at the start of the day today that our thermostat, if we're saying from a 5 to a 10, was at a 5. So my question for you, and get your hands ready in the chat box, is would you be willing to elevate our internal standard as a team here today to experience a different quality of life? So we're going to do an exercise, expanding your identity, team, expanding your identity, where you're going to take what you just learned from Tony and you're going to think about all the results that you want to create in your life over the next 6 to 12 months and start to think about and remove you from it. So remove you from it like you're looking at it and you say, okay, here's this person that wants to what? Write a book, be badass, experience a reunion with their lover, with their partner, financial freedom, write a book, have their God body, best health of their life, take their kids on a trip. All these beautiful results that as a family and as a community we came up with. And start to ask yourself, what kind of person creates these results? Who do they spend time with? What do they do? What do they walk like? What is their energy like inside of themselves? What are the innate examples that intuitively you know about the person that creates a world like that? And you're tapping into your intuition for this exercise. And I want you to write like crazy, write with passion. And remember, don't make it personal. Remove yourself from it and look at it and say, this person that I'm supporting wants to create these results. And tell me everything about him or her. And we're going to put this up on the screen, not this one, team, but the next one. There's a writing exercise where you're going to write down all the information about this person, and we'll put it up right now. It's called Expand Your Identity. And as much detail as possible, explain the type of person who would achieve the results and life that you've decided to create. So before you start writing, we're going to crank our energy, get some energy in our bodies, and then you'll immediately grab your pen, let it all rip onto the page, and then I'll meet you here in another moment for the next piece of the session. If you're feeling good, say yes. All right, crank our energy in 3, 2, 1, go, especially on YouTube. I see you. Yes, Jenny McKinney, good to see you, girl. Whoa, yes. All right, grab your pen and get started writing. Remember, explain the type of person who would achieve the results and the life that you desire, my friends. 2023, what type of person creates this life, this world, this love, this fulfillment, this abundance? Go on a riff and enjoy it.
Our and ride in your dreams. While you were chasing everything else but me, I'm starting to break out from your grave. See, I finally opened up my eyes, and I saw me coming back to life. That I'd be better without you inside. It's time to be someone I want to recognize. The future starts right now. I made a reservation, but you never came, so I'm checking out. The fire you stole away, I knew one day would come back around. The future is now. The future is now. I'm not backing down, 'cause the future is now. Not backing down, 'cause the future is now. The future starts right now.
All right, friends. If you got something good, share it in the chat box. What does this next level look like? What does she look like? What does he look like? What do they look like? Grateful, self-assured, walks tall, freedom, financially independent, healthy, takes care of my vessel, my body, determined, passionate, positive, focused, humble, loving, and healthy, adds value, lighthearted, knows what she wants and goes for it, pushes the boundaries, respectful of herself and others, is radiant, laser focused, loving, service first. Beautiful, Laura. Julie says no F's given. Resilience, brave,
Is now. I waited for you in the passenger seat. There's only so far I can ride in your dreams. While you were chasing everything else but me, I'm starting to break out from your grave. See, I finally opened up my eyes, and I saw me coming back to life. That I'd be better without you inside. It's time to be someone I want to recognize. The future starts right now. I made a reservation, but you never came, so I'm checking out. The fire you stole away, I knew one day would come back around. The future is now. The future is now. I'm not backing down, 'cause the future.
All right, friends. About 30 seconds left and come back with some energy. You're doing great. Shoulders back, heads up, physiology check.
Is now. The future starts right now. I made a reservation, but you never came, so I'm checking out. The fire you stole away, I knew one day would come back around. The future is now.
All right, come on back with some energy. Shake the body out, shake the building. It's me and the fly, having fun in here. Great job, great job. Beautiful energy. Whoa, yes. I have to say you guys have been an amazing, amazing community. We're not done yet, obviously, but I just wanted to honor you for that because, you know, Tony's longest event that he does is over the course of 4 days, and you have 3 hours to understand the work that this man does would be nearly impossible. But you have been with it, you've been attentive, you've had energy. I've been so blown away by each and every one of you. If you're enjoying yourselves so far today, say yes, make some noise, celebrate yourselves, because we sure do love the heck out of you guys, truly. So, coming back from this exercise and this little section on identity, the goal is to expand and become more of who you are, not to change who you are. Who you are is perfect. And over time, put a finger on a nose if you can see, that we maybe have built up a couple things, patterns, beliefs, thoughts, behaviors that we've practiced enough times that have become part of us, but we might be ready to graduate from those, retire those, put them away, and move on to another chapter, another piece or part of ourselves. And we have had thousands of students go through the Unleash Your Power Within program, which includes a 4 fully immersive day event with Tony Robbins to help them rewire some of these things. And it really comes down to 3 steps. So if you're on the other end thinking in your mind right now, my gosh, you know, I really want to embrace a new part of me. I want to step into another level of myself. I want to embody another piece, another fractal of who I am and who I'm meant to be. And by the way, who is that? If you feel like that, put "oh yes" inside the chat box. I want to share with you, there are 3 things that you can focus on to do, okay, to prioritize in your life. And in a moment, I'm going to invite a panel of women up who I have seen this experience and this transformation in firsthand. They've been studying with Tony in his programs either in the last year or, all about in the last year or even in the last month or so, and have decided to take on a new part of themselves and integrate it and wire it into their bodies. And before I bring them up, I want to share with you the 3 things they focus on so you at least have the formula. You know, success leaves clues. This is something that Tony says often. And we don't want to look at another person and think, oh my gosh, they're lucky. They're doing something different. So if we can train ourselves to spot the difference, spot what they're doing that's helping them make this shift and transformation, it's only going to help us make the shift faster. If that makes sense, give me a thumbs up. Cool? Would you guys want to know 3 things you can focus on to have lasting change? Yes? Okay. So the first piece I'll share with you is something called repetition in proximity. Now, let's handle these things one by one. Number 1, let's talk about repetition. Tony always says, and you can write this down, repetition is the mother of skill. When you do something over and over again, number 1, you have awareness of it more often, so you're more aware of it. It's going to help you spot it and see it. Like, for example, if you were to catch yourself in a pattern of behavior that you don't want and you only caught yourself one time, is it likely that you're going to break that pattern? A great example of this, who has like a niece, nephew, or a kiddo, or maybe even yourself at one point, who used the word like a lot until someone made you aware. And then every time you said the word like, you're like, oh gosh, I hear it. Or if you have anything else that you can resonate with that, once someone calls it out or spots it, the moment that you say it, utter it, do it again, you feel it. If you know what I'm saying right now, give me a wave. So you want to have repetition, practicing, right? Practicing and embodying the truest part of yourself. But not only repetition. You know, you wouldn't just show up at this masterclass today and expect yourself to have cured transformation for life, right? This is super inspiring. And now you have a gateway to go deep, really, and own it. So the second piece is proximity, actually. Repetition and proximity. I'll get to the immersion. Repetition and proximity. Proximity means you're doing exactly what you're doing today. Getting around other people that are thinking the same way that you are, that want similar things that you want, that can communicate with you in the language that will help you start to craft a circle of people that are going in the same direction. Has anyone ever had an experience where you were like gunning for a future life, but the people in your circle know the old you, the Griselda, the you that has patterns of the past, and they can't let it go, and you're like, freaking, I've let it go. Can we move on from this, okay? It's important for you to be in proximity. And I have a feeling, I know just being engulfed by the beautiful presence of all of you, you make me feel like that just even today. And so today is a taste of what it feels like to be in community. But you don't just need that. You need repetition, you need proximity, but you also need something called an immersive experience. And a lot of people don't do this because you have to make a commitment. You make a commitment of your time, you make a commitment of your all-outness. An immersive experience, we'll pop this up, immersion training is when you remove yourself from life as you know it and plop yourself into an experience that completely transforms everything that's comfortable into the unknown. It's in the realm of the unknown that rebirths happen, that transformation occurs. And so in the world of Tony Robbins, he calls this full blast immersion. And the people you're about to meet in a second, their flavor of choice for that was a 4-day immersion event with Tony Robbins called Unleash the Power Within. And I know we have so many graduates here at this program that I already saw and have seen. And you can do immersion in a million ways, by the way, but we are at a Tony Robbins event, so I'm going to share with you the way that we do it here. It's 4 days where you rewire yourself head to toe by dedicating your most precious asset, which is your time, to going deep on the areas of life that matter most. And then most importantly, what specifically is the blockage from you knowing what you want and where you are now and how to get yourself to move. And most often, you have to actually eradicate these limitations from your nervous system so they don't show up again, because this pattern, the truth is, we've practiced it so much, we can't write our dream life on paper and do wish paper and hope and pray that these programs go away. We have to take massive freaking action. And so when you dedicate your time 4 full days with the #1 success coach that ever has walked the face of the planet, chances are you're going to have some shifts inside of you that take this new identity that you've wrote down that you want to call in, and you're going to take it and then plug it into your body and then make that freaking fly into your life. If you're with me, say yes. And that's not it. The third step is called conditioning and programming. And we'll pop this up for you so you can see. But then you condition and wire it into your body, again, through repetition. This cycle repeats itself. So I'm going to bring up 4 of the graduates of our 8-week Unleash Your Power Within program. So what that means is they've gone through 8 weeks of repetition and proximity. And again, you can do this in any way in your own life. You don't have to do it with us, but I want to show you an example of women that have gone through this journey and they have embodied an identity. They've worked with Tony for 4 days, 50 plus hours, have come out on the other side. And I bet maybe we're curious, what does it look like to embody ourselves at a level like that? So all 3 of them recently graduated from Tony's Unleash the Power Within event. Some of them just, the first woman just a month ago in November. So I want you to help me welcome to the screen Casey Corbell, graduate of UHPW, Amanda Moss, Zakiel McLean, and Cynthia Amaro. Welcome those beautiful women to the screen. I'm so short that if I make one wrong move, I'm gonna spin around 180 degrees. Okay, so I'm so glad that you guys are here. First and foremost, my heart starts to swell because these women have been working so hard the last several months. So we've got from left to right, I don't know if they can see this view, but we've got Casey Corbell, who just completed the program. She had an absolute amazing transformation. She went into it with the intention to transform her health. She played completely full out in the 8 weeks. She not only did that, but she tapped into a completely new version of herself. Amanda, oh my gosh, woman, I love you. Her energy is so unbelievably potent and profound. You guys, this fly, this is gonna go down in history. I'm gonna sniff the fly up my nostril, I think. Her transformation has been so profound at Unleash the Power Within just this last November. Zakiel, this woman, okay, we brought her up on screen during a training, and we have this integration tool that Tony creates where you do these incantations and wire them into your body for the conditioning and programming piece, which so many of you will learn here in a moment. Don't want to give it all away. She gets on screen and she's like, I am Zakiel. And we're all like, had no idea. We're like, this girl raised her hand, sure, we'll pick her. Her energy's off the charts. And then we have Cynthia Amaro, who's participated in the Unleash Her Power Within course, the 8-week journey, like 5 times. I'm like, why do you keep doing it? She's like, I just love Tony Robbins. So let's go through, 6 times. So let's go through. I want to bring Casey up to the screen first. And you guys know, we got to keep it tight here, but I want to know, Casey, what was life like before finding Unleash Your Power Within? Let's just set the tone for everybody.
So before UHPW, my old identity, her name was Prudence, and she always had huge, huge dreams and huge goals, but I feel like they always just stayed like neatly tucked inside a notebook, like in the form of a list, and never really left. She was a huge self-sabotager, people pleaser. She always put herself last. She always played small, and she was afraid to shed her light on everyone. She kept it dim. Yeah, she played small for sure.
And when you did this program, so it's 8 weeks, so it's no joke. And so a lot of people sign up for programs, they're like hot, and then maybe you went freaking all out. And then in your 7th week, we met each other live just in November in Palm Beach at Unleash the Power Within. So you guys, if you haven't been, it's like trying to explain what a cheeseburger tastes like if you haven't had one. But it is like soul pumping, electricity. It's Tony on stage. I mean, he's impacted 50 million people with this training, and we're all there like wide open, unzipped. These women are ready for transformation. So Casey, what happens at UPW with Tony?
Well, it was so transformative. Like, it was one of the most profound experiences of my entire life. One of the biggest things I always struggled with was self-love. And I feel like a lot of women can relate. And it felt like it was a conditional thing. But, after UPW, I really feel like I love myself. And that's a really new, strange feeling.
Aww.
But it's crazy. It's crazy.
You wear it. So we actually met up and took pictures at the beach because, and I have a photo of you I'll pull up later. Actually, maybe Gabby, if we have it, we could show it now. And you made a reel too about your journey from like where you were 8 weeks before the program to where you are now. But you wear it so well, and it's all over you and your energy and the way you walk and the way you talk. And so what would it be for someone who has no idea who Tony is? Many of you do, but if this is your first experience, what would you share to a woman who's, interested in diving deeper into this world?
I would say that UHPW and UPW, as it's so beautiful that they come together in this little package, because it really helps you to rewrite your identity. And if you've ever struggled, or if you've had these big dreams and big goals and they stay tucked away, this helps you to actually take action on them. Like, I'm not saying like crazy, massive action, those 2 millimeter shifts every single day where you're choosing your future self, you're choosing the new self and rewriting that old program. This is for you, 100%.
So tell everybody your transformation. Like you had some pretty epic stuff go down. So tell everyone where you're at now and what results you found.
Yeah. So that was my second round of UHPW.
Oh, wow.
I did the first one back in May. And since then I have lost 90 pounds and completely shifted like fundamentally as a human being. It's really insane. I created a new identity. Her name is Elle. And I swear to God, it's like when you first start, you think, how am I ever going to accomplish this goal? It just seems so far away. And like I said, you write it down and then you close the book and you're like, okay, that's cool. But this teaches you to actually take the action to achieve it. And little by little, I have lost all this weight, and I know that it's not temporary because I know it's ingrained in who I am now, because I am the type of person that is healthy, that works out, that treats themselves well, and who loves themselves and values themselves enough to do that.
Let's give it up for Casey. I love you, woman. Here's Casey in her beautiful new self photo. Look at her at Unleash launched the power within, I created my new identity, L. Lost 90 pounds, reclaimed my health. Thank you, Tony.
Those photos look great.
Thank you so much, Casey. Okay, Amanda Moss, the girl with the most electric woman in the room. Hello, you beautiful human being. So, I'm so grateful just for your existence. This woman just graduated from Unleash Your Power Within as well, and also unleashed the Power Within live in Palm Beach, Florida, 4 full days of total body pumping immersion. So tell us, what was life like before finding UHPW? What your experience was through the journey at UPW? Help paint that picture. Like, what the heck goes down across those 4 days? What's it like? Who's Tony? Are you just jumping up and down, or what's going on? And where are you at now?
Oh, okay. First of all, I want to say thank you so much. And the best part of the UHPW experience for me has been the community. I know each of the women on this panel personally, and I'm just like cheering everybody on. And it's just to have that deep soul connection with other women, absolutely unreal. So where I was at before UHPW and UPW was I played really small. Like, I had these dreams and I had this vision of my life, but didn't have the belief in myself to take the action. So this would have never happened even 4 months ago of like, hey, can you come chat with us? I'd be like, no.
Well, we're grateful that you did. We're grateful that you're here. Yes. This is the edge. This is the expansion on the decision line. You're stepping into your new self.
Absolutely. So the entire UHPW experience is really coming back to yourself. And I feel like the biggest shift for me is radical self-kindness, the awareness when things come up in life as they do, to not say, oh, this is who I am, but to take that sacred pause and say, okay, what is this showing me? What is this teaching me? Who am I going to embody? Who am I going to be in this moment? And that's where you really get your power back and you can make a different decision and really start changing your life step by step. My old identity was Mercedes, and she was super self-critical and really judgmental of herself. And through this experience, I am now the Empress.
Ooh,
and
Empress.
have never loved myself more.
It's great to meet you, Empress.
Thank you. So that is the thing that I can't fully be able to express is the community and going through that experience of meeting Tony and like getting into the depths of your own soul, and also doing it with a community of women where you're like, hey, I'm processing. I have the space to say like, hey, we're gonna like, I really want to unpack this. And fellow women holding space with utter belief in you is truly life-changing.
Freaking beautiful. I love you, woman. When I saw you at the event, I think you had like no voice left and you were sprinting somewhere, and then we crossed paths and we were like, oh my gosh, it's you. And I was like, it's you. And then we were like, we know each other from from the screen, you know? And had an amazing hug. But I don't know if everyone understands, like, we're using language of, you know, let's go deep and you hold space for me because I want to go work through this. Like, what goes down across those 4 days? Like, you do all this work week after week to learn these fundamental teachings. All for what? You go to this event, and then what are you doing with all of that? What's it like with Tony guiding you through the process? Like, tell us that. Yeah,
so Tony really takes you to a place that you don't want, like, you don't go in your normal day life. That's why, like, immersion's so important, because you almost have to shut out the complete old version of you, the person in the past. And, like, from my experience, I found myself and rewired parts of my identity more so than I have through therapy and through trying on my own. And those things are also really great, but there's something unique about this where he walks you through getting super, super clear on what you want in life and who you want to be, and then wiring that belief into you to say, hey, I'm going to take this action. I'm going to take this action. It's not a one-time event. It's becomes part of who you are, and you just keep taking those steps, the next right step, the next right step, with deep self-trust that you're like, I'm creating the life that I want, and no one can stop me because I'm the certainty.
Let's celebrate this amazing woman. Thank you so much, Amanda. I love your smile. I love you. Seriously, thank you so much. Whoa, yes. So our next guest, and it's so cool because I'm one of the guides inside of UHPW, and these are all my friends too. I get to meet them inside the community and be a part of their stories, and it's cool to have them up here today. This is our first time we've ever done these live shares, and I just want to know in the chat box, is it helpful to see and hear the experience of transformation from women that have gone deep, that have chose to be the creator of their life, to claim their new identities? So our next share is from an amazing woman. Her name's Zakeel McLean, and this woman has so much passion, so much intensity, so much fire. Look at her. I wish I could share it. You wouldn't have the context, but I would love to share with you a clip of Zakeel post UPW when she's wiring her new identity into her body, and she's like, I am, and she's got these incantations, and you'll get it eventually. But today, Zakeel, I just want you to share life before, what the UHPW journey has been like, and then I want you, because you had a very powerful transformation at UPW virtual, just like full blast. What was that like? And what is it like working with Tony? Where are you at now? If you can remember all 9 questions I just asked you.
I was like, do I need a pen?
Scroll.
So I will say before this, before I found UHPW, I was a woman that kind of, oh my God, me and my husband, we were headed to a bad place. And I was like, what do I need to do? Therapy, counseling, I didn't know. And I was like, maybe I should take coaching. Maybe it's me. And I remember going to look at Tony Robbins coaching, and it didn't, I was like, I'm not sure. And I saw a class like this, and I signed up, and I got on, I put my camera on. I didn't care what I looked like, because I was like, this is it for me.
The masterclass? Like a year ago? Wow.
Yeah. Well, in May.
Oh my gosh, amazing. Okay, continue.
And the master class, I was like, whoa, this KK girl, she is some fire. I got to learn from her. So thank you. Thank you. Because now when me and my husband talk, we talk. And we talk.
And you talk. Okay, so tell us about that shift, because I know a powerful shift with you. So at UPW, all this work that these women are doing is leading up to this event. And you're actually diving really deep into you and in the relationship pieces. And so where did that revelation for your relationship stem from?
It actually stemmed from me doing the work through the 8 weeks. Then when I went to UPW, it kind of wired everything that I had done through the weeks leading in. It was like it prepared me to play full out, to allow Tony to get in here and to do all of the work and make all of the shifts. And
like he did it all. You didn't do anything. You didn't do anything.
It was me doing the work, but it definitely helped being fully immersed, because like Amanda and Casey said, you shut off the outside and you just focus in on the life that you want to create. And for me, it was really important. I wanted to have not only a marriage, but, community and relationships and a business that I was embodying, and I was living this beautiful stuff. I know.
So where are you today? What's new? What's your new identity that you've embodied?
So my new identity name is the Baddie, and in my case, I've lost 70 pounds, not 90.
Wow.
And it's something that Tony said in PW. He said that when you are aligned here and you're aligned here, everything else just kind of is in place. And I didn't even try to lose the weight. I was just doing the work, doing the things that I thought were necessary for me to take it to the next level. And I looked around and I was like, whoa, what happened to those 250 pounds I lost?
Oh my goodness, that's incredible. Well, we're so grateful for you. Let's give it up for this amazing woman. Thank you for your share, Ezekiel. Your openness, your love, your support, your sisterhood. Now I'm going to bring up an amazing woman who has been in our community. She's about to start her 6th UHPW. I'm like, I didn't even know we did that, have had that many programs, but she's been in every single one. She keeps coming back for more. She has gone through every program that Tony has, period. And her name is Cynthia Amaro. She's a beautiful alumni. And there she is. So not only is Cynthia an alumni herself, but she's also one of our mentors, our senior mentors in the program. So now she guides other women through their journey through Tony's work, which is super cool. And I can relate to it because it's a passion of mine as well. So Cynthia, talk to us. I know it's a long time ago, but before Tony, BT, okay? BT, before Tony, what was life like? And then what was your experience through UHPW and then UPW? I really want people to understand what it means to have immersion and what it means to work with Tony. And what is life like now?
Oh my God, life before, I don't even know. I don't even want to go back there because I don't even know who that person is anymore. I felt like I was sleepwalking the whole time. Like I sleptwalked through my whole life. And then I found Tony Robbins through one of the free challenges. And it was like, who is this guy? And people would say, oh, Shallow Hal. I'm like, I don't even know who Shallow Hal is. Okay. And then I was just like, oh my God, this man, I'll drop anything. If I hear his voice a mile away, I will hear it and I'll drop it. And I'm like, what is he going to tell me? Because he just needs to keep talking to me forever and ever and ever. My life has completely changed with doing UPW, being part of the whole Tony Robbins world. I'm the happiest I've ever been. And even just today, it's almost like I don't know who I am anymore. Like I know who I am, but I don't know who I am. And being in an immersion, I want to be in an immersion my whole life. Hi, I'm Cynthia, I'm a Tony addict. I just want to be immersed all the time because I learned so much. When Tony says, if you go to Italy and you want to learn Italian, you go there and you stay there for however long you need to stay there. And being in this immersion of 4 days, I learned to get out of my head and to think with my heart because my heart has all the answers. And that was such a huge shift for me because I had all these limiting beliefs and was fighting myself the whole time. I got in my own way my whole life. And Tony just opened up that door for me. And my life, when he ended, life will never be the same. It has never been the same. I don't ever want to go back to the person who I was before. And he wasn't a bad person. He was just lost. I came back home. And UHPW just laid the foundation to it. And when I sat at UPW on day one, I was like, holy crap, this is what this means. I got it. It was, I can talk forever about this.
I know
this
you can, because I was like, Cynthia will talk for 45 minutes if we let her. Because you have so much passion and you've embodied it, you know?
I didn't realize, I found my calling through UPW. I found what I needed to be doing. What I needed to be doing was always in front of me, and it was before I lost my mom 12 years ago. So I'm actually going back to what I love to do, and Tony made me realize this is what I need to be doing. It was always within me, and that's what he teaches you. It's always within you. You just have to look a little deeper and find the person that you were meant to be, your authentic self. Like, we all want to be the best version of ourselves. We just got to dig and learn how to be comfortable with the uncomfortableness. That to me was a tough struggle for me. But now I slay her. I have no time for her anymore.
I love you, woman.
It's like, if I can say one more thing.
Yes.
I want everybody in this platform right now to step out of your history, out of your past, and step into your destiny. Your life is in front of you, and Tony, the teachings of Tony, is going to awaken something in your heart that, oh my God, watch out, world.
Watch out, world. And Cynthia, thank you so much. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you. Let's give a round of applause to all these amazing women. Thank you guys so much. Give them some love. Put some hearts in the chat box. Send some love all around the world. YouTube, Zoom. Shake your body out. Shake your body out. Make some energy in your chair. What did you notice in these women? You notice some sense of freedom, some sense of liberation, and I want to share with you the journey that they went through, because if you take notes on this is a journey many of you might want to walk through. Put in the chat box if you feel, I want to make a shift from who I've been to who I'm destined to be. If that's you, say yes. There are 4 steps to doing this, 4 phases. And so for them, their flavor of choice, what they did was unleash her power within, the 8-week journey. For you, it might be that. I hope it is. Our next one starts in January. But find something for you. But there's 4 phases that Tony's designed our community to walk through. We serve thousands of women, once or twice a year through this journey. And it's 4 distinct phases. And whether you do it with us or you do it somewhere else, the 4 stages pretty much say the same, and I want to share them with you right now. If you're ready, say I'm ready. Put I'm ready in the chat box. Phase number 1 is the first 3 weeks of the program, and it's called Awakening. In the awakening stage of this program, weeks 1, 2, and 3, we're focusing on that first key of transformation, which is patterns. If you remember this, put oh yes in the chat box. Awakening, let me tell you what it's not. Awakening is not a lightning bolt shooting through the screen, zapping you, and you're like, I'm some awakened being that has had some massive transformation, life's changed forever. Awakening is the opposite of being asleep. So like what Cynthia said, she said, I'm sleepwalking through life. In the first 3 weeks of the program, we break down through an honest assessment, through understanding what's the barrier and what's in your way. What are some of the patterns that we've been asleep to that are running on autopilot, maybe taking us in a direction that we don't want to go, and us actually having the radical honesty to say it like it is. We don't want to do this anymore. This is what we do want. This is what we don't want. This is what I preference for my life moving forward, who I really am. So we get clarity and awareness. Please put the word awareness in the chat box and write that down in your book somewhere. So starting today, are you willing to be aware of the patterns, the victim, the playing small, the lack of confidence, the overthinking, the holding yourself back, the telling yourself no, seeking permission from other people, whatever it is, are you willing to be aware of it and call yourself out on your own bullshit? Are you willing to do that? Yes or yes? Okay, great. You're moving in the direction on phase 1. Phase 2 that all of those women went through is called creation. We used to call this reinvention, but Sage, who you're going to meet in just a moment, she'll be here in a bit, Sage Robbins. We're so excited. We're going to have some live shares and questions. She lended her insights and said, it's actually not about reinventing. None of you need to reinvent yourself into something new and then, like an actress, pretend to be that. What we need to do is remove the gunk that we've built over time. Remove the stories that we've built up, the beliefs that we've built up about ourselves and about others. Who has a belief they believe about others that gets in the way of loving them, of loving a situation, of loving life? We have so much stuff built up that we call that who we are. But if you peel that back, inside of it is this beautiful shining star that is you, that is so pure, so perfect, so amazing. And being able to taste and experience that is really what the juice of life is all about. So in the second phase, creation, it's when you become the deliberate creator of your life. And we guide our community through an identity expansion exercise. You saw like a 2-second video of Tony today, but he actually walks us through this inside the program. We go deep on it so you can understand what are the elements of building identity, not to change me, but to discover me. How do I expand my perception of who I am, not limit myself, not lock myself in, not contract myself to a word, I am this, I am this. You are all of it. So how do you expand your identity? And then you name it. So you heard Casey called herself Elle. You know, my new identity is I have had Sasha. I've had Pepper Love. I've dyed my hair after I've changed my identity. You know, we do all fun things when we create the part of ourselves and get to meet her. And then once you're done with that, you go to phase 3, which is what so many of them talked about here with a lot of color. And that is attending Unleash the Power Within. They've taken all of their training, all of their work, and they chose an immersive experience. So again, for you, it might not be with us, but today is about serving and supporting you. So I need you to pick some immersion experience. You can either immerse with us, which would be the best in the world, or you're going to go immerse somewhere, but you got to plop yourself out of your current life where everyone knows you and your old patterns and your old behaviors, with the coffee pot in the same spot, with the same person at work that grinds your gears, with the kiddo that you're getting frustrated with, all the same things. You got to remove yourself from that environment, learn something new, challenge yourself, provoke yourself, get yourself to dig deep into your core and figure out with true radical honesty what the F word is in the way, blocking you from experiencing the juice of life that you deserve to live. And that's that transformation phase that these students that you saw on our wall went to with Tony, where they played full freaking out for 4 days and rewired themselves. That was the same trend with every woman. Did you hear it? Put a finger on the nose if you heard it. They said they conditioned it into their body. They said, who was I before? I don't even remember because this is living in me now. And you need immersion to have that experience. And then we have a fourth phase. So for a lot of you, you have a fourth phase after today's class. This is nothing like an immersion experience, but the principle is there. The fourth phase is called momentum. So our 8th session in the program, we take our women through a big celebration of all they've done in the journey, but then we give a plan. Where are you going next? What's the next lily pad that you're going to jump to? Because I know for my own life, I've attended courses like this, and then the day starts tomorrow, and I get so lost in humaning that I completely forget the life that I designed a mere 24 hours ago. And then before I know it, 2 weeks go by, and the holiday season, and then January, and I give myself to everybody else, and then February rolls around, and I say, oh, F word. Looking in the mirror, we've done it again. There's nothing worse than gosh, I blew it, except gosh, I blew it again. So I'm telling you, you need momentum. What decision are you going to make today? And why don't you tell me in the chat box, what decision could you make today that would make it so that the momentum you've created at this event today doesn't leave you? It doesn't dissipate. It doesn't dissolve into a mere memory, but it becomes a launch pad for your greatness and your evolution. I would personally love to support and have you guys inside of Unleash Your Power Within. You've heard it quite a bit, Unleash Your Power Within the program. It's an 8-week program. By a show of hands and say yes, how many of you would be interested in hearing just a bit more detail about what that is and when it starts and what the journey looks like? Yes, put oh yes in the chat box if that's you. And again, even if it's for mere note taking, you should have the information to know what this is. So I'm going to put up a slide here so you can see. And here's a date to write down. Enrollment actually just opened for our next program this morning. So it's a waitlisted program. It only opens once or twice a year. And it just opened this morning. It is virtual, so capacity is always limited. We are going to give our masterclass attendees here an invitation to go. We've put something together pretty special for you. The program begins January 31st. We only host one New Year program a year, obviously. And what we've created is pretty spectacular. So I want to take you through the journey right now. There's a couple elements. The first element is the program. And people ask, what is it, right? And I can sum it up in 3 little phrases. It's 8 weeks of consistent training where we're breaking down Tony's core fundamental teachings of transformation. It's like a pinch of what you did today. Who here enjoyed what you did today, an iota? Say yes. If you were feeling it at all, okay, this is like nothing. I mean that with love, but we only had 3 hours. I mean, it's impossible. We have 8 weeks in this program, and you can see the way we design even our slides, all these blocks, it's the building blocks of transformation. So we're teaching you all these core principles so you can move information from your mind into your body. And then the reason you say yes to an experience like this is because you can have 8 weeks, cool, but if you're not immersing yourself, there's going to be no rewiring, no transformation in that beautiful body, mind, heart, and soul of yours. So you've got to go to immersive event. So in UHPW, we have you attending Unleash the Power Within with Tony as a part of your track, a part of your curriculum in the 7th week of the program. All of this culminates in one completely unstoppable and unleashed version of you. And I might add a 4th thing on, it's the community. I mean, I'm best friends with so many of the women in here. They're phenomenal. And as I've gotten older, it's challenging, especially with COVID and stuff. It's like, how do you meet people that are on this same path and calling? And this is a place to do it. So let's walk you through what the program is. It's 8 live training sessions breaking down these teachings in a really fun, digestible manner. And everything's recorded also. We're modern day women with busy lives. Prioritize yourself. But if there comes a day where one live event you couldn't make it or such, it's uploaded so you could watch it. And the second aspect of the program is you're not just going to learn from me. I'm one of the program guides inside, but I'm just one of many amazing, phenomenal women. So in a bit, we're going to hear from Sage Robbins. In literally just a couple minutes, she'll be joining us and answering questions live from this community. So don't go anywhere because that's going to be freaking spectacular. But she's got so much wisdom. She guides us. She's our lead guide in the program as a source of inspiration of what's possible. We have Allison Bird, who's a mindset expert. We have 2-time world champion Siri Lindley, who is a dear friend of Tony and Sage's, and also one of Tony's top 10 favorite motivational speakers. She coaches us through the transformation of the beliefs that keeps us stuck. You're going to tap into your divine feminine essence with Katie Silcox, who is an Ayurvedic guide, and then also Jamie Kern-Lima. Has anyone heard of It Cosmetics? It's actually what's on my face right now. And Jamie is an amazing woman with a beautiful story of courage and believing in herself. And she pushed back past self-doubt and sold her company for over $1 billion, making her the first female CEO in L'Oreal's 100-plus year history. And she is a guide this year in the program, which is freaking amazing. So these are the teachers that we have our students hear from and learn from. So that's the first part, the program. The second aspect of the program, it's all valued if you were to just do the program on its own at $1,095. You guys aren't going to pay that today if you want to step in and say yes, but I want to give you an understanding of what each aspect of this is valued at so you understand the true journey that you're embarking on. The second element is Unleash the Power Within. And I'm going to play like a little footage here in the background so you can see all these beautiful screens, all these amazing souls and people. You guys, it is almost near impossible to explain an event that will transform you so much from the inside out that you might not remember who you were before the event even started. It's 4 days, and it's going to take you through, number 1, your internal natural state of energy. Look at this. Look at this crowd pumping, and it's the feeling that you get in the virtual capacity as well. You're going to tap into a peak state that you either haven't felt in a long time or it's the first time in a long time. And it's going to become a part of you, wired into your nervous system so you can turn it on like it's a muscle. It's living and breathing. This isn't an event that you're taking notes like a student and filling your mind. Tony's wiring these insights into your body, and you're doing the work to transform the beliefs that have once limited you. Blast through limitation, blast through self-doubt, blast through the barrier that's holding you back. Even in this moment, if you have any resistance in your body to your greatness, your next level, you've got to know that you deserve it. And you're going to go through this process on the 3rd day of the event, and our graduates can flood the chat here, where you are going to pick out your top 3 limitations. And Tony's going to take you through this all-day process where you literally eradicate them from your nervous system so they never show up in your life again. And, I'm not on your side receiving this from me right now, but I do know my personal experience. And in 2018, I attended this event with Tony. I don't even remember one day before it. Life started, life began. I'd understood myself, life, love, fulfillment. Everything began when I gave myself that gift to discover myself through that man's work. So let's give a round of applause to Tony, by the way, because it's pretty cool that we even exist on the planet at the same time as that man. So if you were to go in Unleash Your Power Within, the ticket level that we give, if you were to just buy that event alone, it would be $1,295. My first UPW with Tony, which is the Unleash the Power Within, I paid $1,400 for one ticket. And I went full send into that arena in Chicago, and I played all out. My life has it. It's the best money. I would have paid $50,000, maybe. I would have paid $10,000 at least for my seating level that I went to. But it was crazy, you guys. It completely transformed my life. So those are the two kind of big elements. And then there's a couple other fun things. Inside of Unleash Your Power Within, we have over 5,000 phenomenal graduates, and that doesn't even touch on all the graduates of the world of Unleash the Power Within. There's 50 million people that have graduated from Tony's world. But the women that you met on the screen today, who would like to be in connection with some women that are pursuing life at this level? I don't know, maybe have one night a week where you get to take a break from reality as you know it and sit with your sisters, pour yourself a kombucha, get a charcuterie board, and train and explore in your heart and your soul. You're going to meet these incredible women inside of this community. You also are going to get these weekly Power 5 sessions. This is a signature element of our program where we plop you in a room with 5 other women at the end of each training, and that's where all this beautiful connection is actually formed. We'll give you a prompt and you share, and these sessions create this ignition to fuel these beautiful relationships, which is what you saw on the screen earlier. Then you get our Knowledge Hub, which is where every single training is uploaded. So the moment that we do it, you'll have it in 24 hours. Again, we are modern women. We need some time leverage. And so we want you to be live on every training. But if you ever needed to go in there, you have some trainings. We also uploaded bonus trainings for you guys all the time on all different areas of your life. One of them that we're going to include just for the masterclass, any of you that, again, if you don't want to, that's great. But if you want to and you feel called, I highly encourage you to do this because we're going to include this bonus life planning course. It's a $97 value. When you guys say yes today, it's just waiting for you in there. And it's a beautiful system to design your life. So that's also included in the program. And then you're going to get a welcome box shipped to your front door. For our community members, this is kind of like Christmas. It happens a couple weeks into January, and you'll get all of your program elements, your workbook for the Unleash the Power Within event. Tony's going to ship you this board that you're going to smash with your bare hand. We'll talk about it later. You're going to get everything that you need for 8 weeks. That's valued at over $100. So I'll give you a snapshot of what the whole program looks like, and then we'll get ready for the next phase of our workshop here, which is Sage coming out, okay? So all of this together, you have the Unleash Your Power Within 8 live trainings valued at $10.95. You have the Unleash the Power Within event included in your journey in the 8 weeks for $1,295 value. That's March 16th through the 19th coming up, 2023. You have your private hub access for all of your content. You have an exclusive community of beautiful, phenomenal, heart-centered, vibrant women. You have weekly Power 5 sessions, which at the end of 8 weeks, you'll have 80 new friends, which is pretty epic. And then you'll have your bonus life planning course for $97, a welcome package shipped to your door. And then not only that, we love to contribute here. It's super important to us. For each person at the masterclass that says yes to yourself, we will donate 50, Tony will donate 50 meals on your behalf to Feeding America to help people, especially in this time. It's so, so important. So all of this together, total value of $2,487. Like I said, I would have paid $10,000 just to go to Unleash the Power Within. So by a show of hands, how many think this is amazing? Just the amazing value for this alone. Hand up in the air, say yes. So Here's something about us. If you haven't figured it out so far today, we love to add extra value to you. We hope you have had the most incredible day today, but we wanted to do something extra special. So we asked ourselves, what could be a bonus that if we gave it to you guys would just blow you away? So we said, what if we took our 5 top viewed, top rated, top asked for trainings that we've ever given in the world of UHPW and packaged it into a bonus vault. And we did that. It's worth over $1,000, but you have this masterclass exclusive bonus vault. When you guys say yes today, all of this is just going to come to you in a little special gift from us. So it's like Christmas. You could start watching these trainings as soon as tonight before the program starts in January. We've got the beautiful Maria Menounos, who's been supporting Unleash Your Power Within, and Tony Robbins since the beginning. You'll have a breathwork training practice that's experiential, that you can activate your physiology. You'll be able to tap into some ancient food wisdom and nourish your body. This third training, our beautiful friend Kieli GL cooks a meal in 15 minutes to learn how to nurture your body. Tap into your inner radiance with Katie Silcox. And we even have a course on parenting. Where are my parents out there by a show of hands? Again, I only have 2 dogs, but I thought this course was amazing because it's about parenting yourself. And so if we want to get to the next level, these are 5 trainings that will help you get there stat. Again, all of this over $1,000 included. This total value is $3,487. And again, I would do just Unleash the Power Within for 10 grand. How many of you think this is some epic value? By a show of hands, say yes. Who would do this just to work with Tony? Now, you're not going to do that because we wanted to do something irresistible today. It gives us so much joy, you guys. You don't even know. Hopefully you can feel it from me. This annual Life Design Masterclass is our way to meet people around the world and open up the door for you to walk into an experience and in a path that can transform your life, not for a little bit, not for a year, forever. And if I could drop an F-bomb right now without thinking about it later, I would. But this will change your life. So if you want to get started today, which I hope and trust your answer is absolutely yes, you want to put yourself first, you can get started for $895 for everything. That is the 8-week program. That is Unleash the Power Within with Tony Robbins. That's all of your courses, all of the bonuses, $895. If you're all in for that, put oh baby yes inside of the chat box. We're so excited about this. We wanted to make it possible for each and every one of you. And in addition to this, you guys, financially, if you're like, I am freaking all in, we've got so many amazing yeses in the chat. If you're like, I am all in and I want to find a way to make it a bit more digestible, I saw a comment in here about pay plans. We have a payment plan for you. You guys can go to joinuhpw.com to get all of this information, but we have 3 easy payments of $325, and that will help you break this up and make it a bit more digestible. If all this makes sense and sounds good, give me a thumbs up in the screen and shake them around so I can see. Amanda Craig, Jody Norton, Andrea Anderson. Okay, beautiful. So this is an event-only offer, okay? It's only for the masterclass. And here's what I want to say finally, and then we're going to take a little break and bring Sage up, is that I believe in this so much. Number one, because I believe in Tony and I believe in these teachings and I believe in the impact that even it's had on my life. It's a huge honor to be able to share his teachings and his work with you. But I know, because we've done this so many times, that if you say, when you say yes to yourself, because that's what you're doing, is you're saying yes to yourself, not me, not Tony, not anybody else. You're prioritizing your life. I know you're going to be so over the moon happy. I know it. And so I want to give you this little thing right now. If after the 2nd week of training, you don't know with every fiber of your being reverberating in every cell of your body that this was a holy F word, best decision of your life, you just email us and we'll send you every penny back. There is absolutely no risk. There is only the upside of your life. This is your life we're talking about. So I hope you guys get in. Joinuhpw.com. If you try to come back here after the masterclass, the bonuses will not be here. The price will not be here. Please believe me when I say this is your moment. And you can hear this from me until I'm blue in the face, but we're going to take a quick 10-minute break. I'm going to play a video from our community. Don't hear me talk about it. Hear the women that have actually walked through it. So enjoy this. We're going to be back in 10 minutes on the money, and Sage Robbins will be here. We'll be chatting through just these beautiful questions you guys have submitted. So go to joinuhpw.com right now, get yourself enrolled, and then let us know in the program, let us know in the chat box when you guys are in. It's a completely virtual event, so you can do it from anywhere in the world, and I can't wait to see you in there. Welcome to Unleash Your Power Within.
UHPW was a lifeline for me.
I really felt lost and I didn't know it.
I knew something needed to happen, something needed to change.
UHPW, if I could put it into 3 words, it is full self-expression and it is community.
There is a way to get lasting change, and that's what we all really want. And the only way I know is to understand the principle of identity.
UHPW is the launch pad to the most magical, successful, impactful UPW experience that a woman could ever dream of.
It made me want to love myself for the first time in my life.
It is just life-changing.
Life will never be as thing.
I had the biggest breakthrough I've ever had in my life. Something just clicked. Our relationship has changed tenfold.
I love this community so much because it's my soulmates.
I'm just having a breakthrough.
I kind of always describe UHPW as like the program that made me.
And I really, truly found myself. I know what I want to do in my life now.
I was finally able to find peace.
I had this limiting belief about my new identity. She was really difficult to become, right? And then I became her. Coming together and blasting through limiting beliefs, blasting through what do people think, and having a community of love and support.
Like, you can go watch a training, you can go to an event, but if you're not implementing and if you don't have the support, it's probably going to be a lot more difficult for you. In UHPW, we just have this beautiful community.
It's like a sisterhood.
Sisterhood.
UHPW supported me with breaking down the material in a way that was easy to digest, where I could, week after week, work on it with a group of women where I felt safe in that environment.
You are completely missing out if you do not go on this journey.
It's week 8 and we've done it! Woo! I just had to share this with y'all because I'm freaking out. I'm so excited.
This community has really helped me, like the identity training.
I have been in therapy for 20 years, and what I have untapped in the last 8 weeks is record-breaking. UPW is forever. I will never go back.
Gives me the chills every single time I watch it. My friends, welcome to this amazing program. We're going to put this up one more time. Joinuhpw.com. Don't sleep on this. This is your life. Go get yourself signed up. We're going to take a really quick break, and then we're going to have Sage Robbins here and answering your questions live. So don't be late. Let's celebrate in the chat. Those of you that are in, congratulations. Get signed up right now. Joinuhpw.com. We'll see you in a bit. All right, Life Design Masterclass family, you've got 60 seconds. Get yourself enrolled and come join me back on the main stage for the rest of our beautiful event. We'll see you in 60 seconds. All right, Life Design Masterclass family, come on back with some energy. Hello, everybody. Shake that body out, shake that body out. Reach your hands all the way up to the ceiling, stretch it, it's your new life you're creating, come on. You know, normally I would keep the energy going for a while after a break, but I wanted to shout out Anne-Marie Keeley. I haven't read the entire paragraph, but the first sentence, I want to acknowledge her. She says, "This is the first time I felt comfortable and allowed myself on video and didn't keep the screen black." And, you know, this is important. How many of us have ever shied away from being seen before? Put a wave in the screen. You can see it on the back wall here. You deserve to be seen, my friend, by yourself. When you allow yourself to see yourself, that is when you really experience life. And so I want to honor you, Anne, and I also think it's a tribute to this entire community here. Strangers from around the world joining in on some random training call, and you have curated some form of family already where people feel comfortable to show up, to be seen, to playful out, and guess what? It's only the beginning. So, this has been a really spectacular day so far. I hope you guys enjoyed your break and got enrolled. Those of you that are all in, put all in inside the chat box if I'll see you in the next round of Unleash Her Power Within starting in January. Can we take a moment and celebrate all these amazing people? Yay! Congratulations, that's so cool. So good. Catherine, Stephanie, Jules, Nikki, Anna, Paulina, Rena, Lee, Luann, Hage, Monica, Crystal, Louise, Clark. Oh, that's so freaking cool, you guys. Oh my goodness. That is amazing. You know, it gives us so much internal joy to be able to share this work with you, and the fact that you are taking yourself on the journey. You know, no one else said yes besides you guys. And during the break, I have to say, sorry, I thought I was like, got everything, and I walked up, I'm like, yes, I explained it all, but I missed a ton of really important questions, and the team gave them to me. So I'm going to share with you just a couple of the questions and answer those really fast, and then we'll get Sage up here and a special guest for the wrap up of this beautiful event. So question number one came in from Carol. How often are the trainings over the 8 weeks, and what's the time? And I was like, oh my gosh, what a great question, right? The training is once a week for 8 weeks starting Tuesday, January 31st. So Tuesday is training day. It's that sacred day, our holy day, and we train at 7 p.m. Eastern in the evening time. But hear me, we have a global community. We have over 90 different countries represented on our community in any given training program. So we have people tuning in from a million different time zones. So you don't necessarily have to be live. Every single time we have class, which is once a week, within 24 hours, more or less than that, it is stripped and uploaded to your hub. Do you guys remember I showed you your knowledge hub? If you remember that, give me a wave. This is like your little online, speakeasy, garden. You could just go there and get all the training. So you can log in at any point that you want, and you can rewatch any training a million times if you want to throughout the duration of the program. We have some people that watch it on different days. So you don't have to lock yourself into Tuesdays. We do encourage you to be live if you can. I hope that answers your question. So it's once a week for 8 weeks. And in the 7th week of the program, I want to make sure you have this date. You're going to be attending Unleash the Power Within, March 16th through the 19th, okay? 2023. So next question came from Elizabeth, and that's what's the start date of the program? The program begins Tuesday, January 31st. However, you start the moment you enroll today. Your orientation and welcome call is coming up next week, Tuesday, at the same time as this class. So 3 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have an orientation and a welcome call. I will meet you there and walk you through the whole program. If you're anything like me and you want to know every detail, when are we meeting? How am I going to get on the Zoom? We are on Zoom. You're going to see everyone's faces similar to this. How am I going to get on Zoom? How do I access things? You know, what am I going to get my email? All of that stuff I want you to just mentally note on Tuesday. So in less than a week, I will be with you to orient you to the program and give you access to all your materials, okay? So the start date, January 31st, it's the New Year program. Should I still enroll if I can't attend all live trainings? That's from Casey. Absolutely, yes. Like I said, we're modern day women. We have busy lives. I would ask you to prioritize those days. Ask your significant other, partner, someone at work. Say, hey, I really want Tuesdays because I'm committed to this experience. But don't let that hold you back from saying yes right now. You can work out those kinks. And then in addition to that, you can prioritize another day of the week if you have a wedding on that day. But here's the thing. I'll tell you this. More so for Unleash the Power Within, that event is really important. You cannot miss those days. You can't miss one of those days. And sometimes I've heard people say, well, my wedding's on that day. And I was like, well, 50% end in divorce. So you should just cancel the wedding, get married at UPW, and then you're going to have a really successful marriage because it's going to be endorsed by Tony Robbins. That's it. I say that with levity, but I really mean it's important to prioritize this in your calendar. Don't get lost on, can I make it on week 7 or week? You'll figure it out, and we'll be here to support you guys through that and give you a cadence that feels digestible. This is not a part-time job. Don't make it one. It's fun. We have fun every single Tuesday night. You're not going to be taking homework with you after class. We're going to execute it in real time, ground ourselves in the teaching, and it's going to be really fun and enjoyable. I know I love it, and I know our graduates love it. Okay, final question is, when do I need to decide? This is an event-only offer. So past today, past a couple days from today, this will not be here. Absolutely not at the price point. Absolutely not with the bonuses. It will be completely closed. And if you email in and you're like, I was at the masterclass, we have to remain in integrity with the offer. This is something that we are sharing with you guys as an invitation for this community, for being here at the masterclass, something special. So get yourself enrolled and sign up. Now is the new later anyway. And you're going to feel really good when you go to bed at night and you know that you said yes to yourself and got in. I hope those answered your questions. Please send your questions in to our team. Our amazing mentors are in the room, supporting you guys, and they'll collect those so that we can help you and support you guys in the chat boxes as well. So joinuhpw.com. I encourage you to just go there right now. Type in that link. You guys could put it in the chat box. That would be supportive. Joinuhpw.com. Click it, and then you can just go read all this information anyway. Okay? If that sounds good, say yes. Let's shift into the grand finale of the Life Design Masterclass. I am so unbelievably excited to introduce Sage Robbins to all of you, someone who has been an amazing mentor in more ways than I can even explain in my own life, and has also shaped and curated the experience of Unleash Her Power Within for so many women to walk through, because she has had this front row seat to unleash the power within, and the work that her and Tony have been doing in the world the last several years. So it's really beautiful that we have her here today to share her wisdom with us and to give her the gift of her heart. And we also are joined by Mary Buckheit, who's the executive producer of the Tony Robbins podcast and the chief communications director here at the Tony Robbins companies. So two badass, amazing women in the house that we have the the privilege and the blessing to be surrounded by. So Sage and Mary, thank you for joining. Hello.
Hello, you beautiful humans.
Give it up for Sage and Mary.
Thank you.
Get some energy in your bodies. Sage, Mary, thank you guys so much for being here today. As you know, I know you've been watching from home, but this is at, I think we're on time. We're at Tony Standard Time-ish. And, you know, we just finished up today's masterclass. We had some questions submitted. So, Mary, I know you have those. We're just grateful. So let's kick it off.
Thank you, KK. And you've done a beautiful job today. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's such a delight to be with all of you today. Thank you, KK. And I've got the questions here for Sage. So the first question is from Martina Guzman.
Hello, Martina.
She asks, how can I manage my mindset when things around me seem to be falling apart?
That's a beautiful question. Martina, are you going to be joining us? Beautiful. There you are. Hello, lovely. Hi. You know, in the language itself of, you know, what do I do with my mindset when the world's falling apart? That presupposes that the world's falling apart. And there's an opportunity there to apply the tools that you're learning in this community, to apply the tools that, you know, I trust that there's been a longing and a hunger in you to be able to navigate with a greater level of clarity. That's the gift of these immersive programs such as the UPW. And, you know, I'd just be mindful, all of us collectively, and by the way, I can go blind with this as well. You know, the world is falling apart. Different than, do you know what, gosh, I'm feeling a wave of, maybe a wave of overwhelm. I'm feeling a wave of frustration. Because when we take life bigger, if you step outside, you know, the sun is rising, the waves are crashing, the wind is blowing. And so for my own path, for my own experience, if I'm feeling like the world is falling apart, I'm mindful to catch those narratives because they take us down a rabbit hole. That's what's happening right now. There's such a collective sphere of conditioning on the world stage right now. Whether that be through social media or through the media. And so the first thing I would do is just be mindful of how you're communicating or conveying what you believe is happening either on the external world or the internal world. For myself, it's like, wow, I am feeling a wave right now and a wave of overwhelm. I'm feeling a wave of sadness. I'm feeling a wave because the wave that isn't permanent. There's not a, the world is falling apart. That feels like an external devastation that we have no control of. But the beautiful gift of being in this mission, of being in this consciousness, of being in this collective field, is we learn tools to be able to question and identify possibly a more accurate perception of what's happening. You know, on the world stage, it seems like there's some confusion, you know, and it is, I really believe, our gift, not only to the world, but to ourselves, to be able to come up with a kinder narrative. For myself, I really find that the wave metaphor really helps me because it's impermanent. It's just, you know, it's accurate. It's an accurate, we in this human, all of you beautiful human beings, we all can get stuck. We can all feel overwhelmed. We can all feel whatever the crumbling or falling apart or whatever those identities. But if we believe that, and if we're conveying that or perpetuating that, that narrative becomes a part of our innocent asleepness. And so there's an opportunity in your question to actually inquire and go deeper about that question. If that, does that translate? I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Is Martina unmuted?
Well, you have
Do
a
we have
lovely
Martina?
smile. There you are.
is.
Hello, dear.
Hello, thank you so much for this beautiful question answer. I feel so privileged to be able to listen for you. It's amazing that you mentioned so many times the word wave, because this is exactly how I've been feeling it, like a surf kind of wave that at one point you've been run out, but at one point you feel in the crest in a way.
Yes.
And at one point you just go, and it's just difficult to carry on. Well, we have the tools now, thanks God, thanks to the UHPW, but it's so many things happening around. But I keep with me the mirroring of looking into whether it's outside or inside. For this, I'm so grateful.
Yes, because that's what we can shift is inside.
Give it up for Martina Guzman.
Thank you, Martina. Thank you,
I
lovely.
said give it up for Martina Guzman. Get some energy in your bodies. Sage and Mary, I just want you to know our next two guests, we lost them from camera, but we do have their questions. So I just wanted you to know that in advance. And that was so beautiful. And Mary, off to you for our next question.
Okay, great. Beautiful. And I just want to add that Sage really does this in real life. Like sometimes I'll come to her and I'll say the same thing, like, whoa, like life is burning down. And she'll be like, it's just a wave. It's not always what I want to hear in that moment, but she's always right. And it's so helpful to watch our language. And that's one of the things that Tony really teaches at UPW is the power of our language. And we start to notice the words that we put to things. So great question, Martina.
Thank you, dear. Thank you.
Okay, so I hear you, KK. They're not on camera, but we've got one here from Vanessa Trico,
Beautiful.
who writes in and says, I sometimes feel overwhelmed by the amount of roles I play. Sage, what advice do you have for women to expand their identity as it relates to the roles like mother, business owner, sister, daughter, girlfriend? How do you handle all those hats?
Well, the beautiful thing of being human, never mind a woman, is there's many facets of us. And, you know, Tony was speaking earlier about identity, and I know that the whole intent or focus has been on shifting identity during this class. For my own self, I'm mindful to bring a higher identity to those roles. And you'll find that a lot of times the attributes of the roles are consistent across the board. So I'll give you an example. As mother, I'm a loving mother. I am love. I'm a supportive mother. I'm a kind mother. I'm a generous mother. I am love. I am kind. I am generous. That crosses over to whether I'm in business, whether I'm being a friend, whether I'm a daughter, whether, you know, in any context, you know, those attributes there's a higher perception for the simple fact that as mother, as businesswoman, we have so many unconscious entanglements or unconscious expectations from ourselves and from society. And so one of the beautiful gifts of being a mother at this stage of my life is one of the roles and one of the hats I wear. It surprised me how, you know, love expresses and how she animates through me so differently than I ever even imagined. More beautifully. And part of that is probably my own stage of life and having a little one at this stage. I've done a lot of inner work because we're all here. I think that's where we all meet in this human experience, because we all have our impressions. We all have our conditioning that we're here to uproot, to question, to connect to possibly a broader perception or a broader truth of ourselves. I'll share one more, just a mindset for myself, if I'm working, or for example, even just being here with you right now. Our little lady has been popping by outside. And in my mind, if I feel like, gosh, I should be with her, I should be doing this, then I'm not here and I'm not present. And therefore I'm in mind rather than being here and being completely connected. If I'm with her, I'm 100% with her. And I put everything else aside. So that has been my practice for my own clarity of mind. Never mind my own sanity, as to where I am 100%. If for some reason I can't be, I'll have that conversation, say, look, you know, if I'm with my daughter, I'll say, Mommy, I'll be right back in 10 minutes. Or if I'm with her and there's something happening, I'll delay that so that where I am, I can be there so fully. And it isn't about, you know, the amount of time. It's about the amount of presence that we bring to the moment. From my own experience, that there's a level of fullness, there's a level of completeness, there's a level of wholeness. And from that place, you know, rather than, oh my gosh, I have to do this and I have to do this, and mind can take us down all those rabbit holes. But to connect to the attributes of mother, who are you, the attributes of who you are in business. I think you'll be quite surprised that there's some universal threads of love, of generosity, of service, of kindness. That is your core essence of how you long to navigate your life. And if you go down a rabbit hole, if you find yourself hooked or charged, that's what this life is all about. It offers us every moment is an opportunity to be here now and to reconnect with ourselves, never mind our beloveds, or whatever life is offering us in front of us, to lean in, to connect to fall in love with. I think that's why we're certainly all here. It's certainly why I'm here. So thank you.
Let's give it up for Vanessa. Beautiful question. Thank you so much, Sage. Give it up for Vanessa and Sage. Amazing question. All right, one more question. Mary, you got it. Again, we don't have this person sadly on video, but it is a beautiful question.
We've got one more. It's from Kate Feeder.
Hello, Kate.
And she says she's clear. She wants to step up and be the woman she's meant to be. She says, Sage, how will this program and attending Tony's Unleash the Power Within help to get me there? Good question.
That's a beautiful question. Kate. Beautiful. Hello, Kate. Thank you for, you know, just your leaning into this moment and that hunger inside yourself. I've had the privilege to have a front row seat to watch this beautiful man to serve and to bless lives so completely and totally through the UPW process and event. And, you know, the gift of the immersive process is, you know, we can read something, we can hear something, but to actually do a deep dive and to question those limiting beliefs, to have the opportunity to rewrite our narrative, to rewrite our story, to question what's synthetic about ourselves, what's insincere about ourselves. You know, I love the spirit of where you are right now, but the absolute and total immersive process of the UPW is mind-blowing. You know, if I'm walking with Tony, no matter where we are, I never get tired of just people coming and saying, oh my gosh, I attended that event and my marriage was saved. I birthed a business out of it. You know, earlier KK was talking about, you know, identifying, knowing your outcome or being clear what you want. If what you want is awakening, if what you want is true transformation, if what you want is to rewrite what's limiting you, that's the absolute gift of this program. And, you know, gosh, Tony and I have been together for close to 22 years or 23 years now. And I've watched hundreds of thousands of people, of souls just like yourself, who have raised their hand and said enough of this, who've raised their hand and had such a hunger inside themselves and a longing inside themselves for more. Because I trust that if you're meeting here right now, I think I've heard that there's close to 100,000 people, women, she, he, that are joining, which is just extraordinary. There's been that pull, that magnetic pull, because, you know, inside of ourselves, we know that we long to live from more of our true nature. And I think that that will be the gift of this process and this path. So those of you who are considering or have been questioning, gosh, is this right for me? I really pray that you, or hope that you consider enrolling. I'd love to see you and look forward to seeing you at the upcoming UPW. Because as Tony always says in that classic song, life will truly never be the same again. And for you, my dear, I look forward to that immersive of all those layers just falling off and you being able to, for a weekend, bathe in the reality and the gift of who you are. It's a privilege. And thank you for your question.
Thank you so much, Sage. Let's give a round of applause to all of our beautiful question askers and Sage and Mary for joining us. Thank you so much.
We look forward to seeing you at our UPW program in March. We look forward to serving you and seeing you. God bless you. You gotta go.
Thank you guys so much. I love you, Sage, Mary. Thank you so much.
Thank
more time and create some energy in your bodies. It's Sage and Mary. And Tony's over there somewhere, so give him some love too. I think you were talking, Sage. You had something else. We couldn't hear you.
No, we were just saying we love you and God bless.
Love you. Thank you so much. You guys, every single person that's tuned in today from around the world, I just want to recap this beautiful day. Number one, you got here by some stroke of, call it luck, call it fate. You found something that said, I'm going to design my life, and it pulled you in some way and brought you to an experience where you can have an opening to perceive something new, to learn something new, to have an insight. And as we wrap up, I want to share with you something that I learned from, my journey with Tony. I've been studying with him for several years, and that man has transformed my life in multiple ways. And that's why it's such a gift and a privilege to be able to share this information with you. I'm curious, by a show of hands, or if you're in our YouTube family, just put "oh yes" in the chat. If anything today gave you a distinction that you didn't know when you walked in with, a new sense of awareness, a new sense of understanding, an opening to perceive life in a new way. My experience of working with Tony, and especially meeting these phenomenal women that I see all over the Zoom wall right now, is that being in Tony's world is like turning on lights in a dark room. We talk a lot about awareness. And when you see something, even if the lights turn on for a moment and they turn back off, you can never unsee what you've seen. You can never unsee a knowing that you now know. And so to have the courage to say yes to a masterclass today is one thing, but it's something completely different to have the courage to turn all of the lights on inside of you. Just imagine. I know it's so hard, but imagine what life would be like if you allowed that to happen, surrendered to the process, gave yourself the gift of putting yourself first, especially in a season when how many people are putting a lot of other people that you love, and rightfully so, ahead of yourself. It's time to give yourself the gift to fully unleash, because you deserve it. Your family, your community, your friends deserve it. And I know for myself and for Unleash Your Power Within and for Tony Robbins, we would love to support you on your journey. So January 31st, our next program kicks off. We would absolutely adore to see you there. You can go to join UHPW to get yourself enrolled and signed up. And again, this is an event-only offer, so go now and make this happen. I always sign off with our community by saying, it's just your life you're creating. And it is. This is your life. It's so important. And when you say yes, life will never be the same again. VIPs, we'll see you in 10 minutes. Everybody else, go get yourself signed up, and we'll see you at your welcome call on Tuesday. So much love to you guys. Have a beautiful day. Welcome to the rest of your life. See you soon. VIPs will get started in 3 minutes for the Life Design Masterclass VIP